Have you ever heard of the comedian Dusty Rich?
Yeah, I saw that you had him on.
Yeah,
I
dude.
looked at the thing and I was like, I wonder if they had any comics on. And I was like, oh, Dusty.
He's the fucking man, dude. Have you met him before?
He's like, no, I've never met him, but he's like, everyone talks about him here like he's just like an art, like he's everyone's
Favorite
idol
comedian.
here.
Yeah.
Is he that good?
Oh, bro.
But why is he here?
Like, so his story is incredible. He
there we go.
his podcast was like, that was probably the most fun podcast I've ever done. Like, they were the ones where you're like, oh, this is fucking worth doing, you know, because like you're not going to
listen to it.
You're not going to know every one of them, but
I want to know.
Yeah,
his story. Because I've heard so much about him.
Yeah, he basically came from like super racist apartheid family. His dad was like in the apartheid army and shit. And
Is he South African?
Yeah, he's South African. And then he basically just like left South Africa because he got sick of racism. But he was touring with.
So then he came to Australia. Yeah, good call, man. I'm sick of racism. Oh fuck, it's back.
Oh, it's here too. I might go to America.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he ends up leaving. His wife's Aussie.
Yep.
So that's probably more
why he's here.
Truth of the story. But he's like, but yeah, so he was touring with like that Trevor Noah. Yeah. So with him and like he had a Comedy Central special over there. But it was just crazy that a dude would have the balls to just up and leave when all that shit was going good to come to Australia where there's fuck all of a comedy scene, basically.
Like just to do some based comedy gigs at Nobby.
Yeah. But like,
Nobby's Ark.
Dude, we went, so I saw him, I went and watched Theo.
Von.
Yeah,
I went and watched him in Melbourne as well.
Oh, he was fucking good at it.
It was probably top 3 shows I've ever been to.
Yeah, right.
It was great.
So he opened. So I was like, did Dusty open for him? But obviously not.
No,
he just did
we had local openers, I think.
Yeah, so but he opened for Theo, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how have I not seen this guy before? Because I watched.
Oh, so you'd never heard of Dusty, right?
No.
I'd heard of him.
Yeah,
he's just like a man, the myth, legend kind of guy in the comedy scene. And I've never met him, but I've heard a lot about him.
Well, that was the thing. So I saw him there, and then I looked for his Instagram profile.
Yeah.
And it had like 3,000 followers. I was like, this doesn't add up. Like, did he just get hacked? Like, how does no one know about him, you know?
Some comedians just don't. If you don't try and get a social media following, it's hard to just accidentally get one.
Because it's...
you got to try.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Like, that's what I found out with this.
It's a second job.
It's a fucking full-time job. It seems like everything else is a job around social media, basically.
I feel like my main job is, like, I'm a comedian, and I feel like I spend 90% of my time doing social media. And then 10% of my time doing comedy.
That's what I, like, I guess before we started rolling, that's what I was saying, like, with this, there's just so much shit that has come with this, but I'm like, I don't like this bit. Like, I don't like any of this bit.
I think people... Because I guess it's like all social media, they see the good part and they see the finished product, and people think like, that looks easy, that looks great, you must have a incredible life. And it's like, yeah, you don't see the bits where I'm just like editing for 5 hours in a hotel.
That's where I live.
Yeah.
That little dark fucking space. Corner. That's where I live.
Yeah.
Like literally here from fucking 8 until 10.
Yep.
And it's like, and I'm still not doing enough.
And I 100% know you're telling the truth because I do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, so it's gnarly. So I guess with Dusty, he just doesn't.
Most comics
put in that time, you know,
just like doing stand up.
Yeah,
and unless they have someone doing it for them, then they're not. Like, that's why some comics need a manager, need a producer and stuff.
But there's probably not, like, is there that much of a infrastructure in Australia to support that kind of thing?
I think you have to get
I feel like you have to do it yourself.
You have to get it to a certain level to doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Before you can then even afford to get other people to do things for you. Like, I've only just reached the stage where I'm getting people to help me out with my stuff, like where I'm, you know, got an editor a couple of days a week, but I can only afford that because of things like Patreon and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, okay.
You know, without that, I would still be doing it myself and struggling even more to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, even this, like, this is basically like I've been broke for 2 years because of this one room.
Yeah, but it's a good room to be, you know, if it makes you feel any better. I went in and I was like, it's a nice room. You know, he's nailed it. Good lighting, good cameras, and general good vibe. Comfy seats. Good for you.
Perfect. There's so this, hopefully this wall, I'm actually going to build like this table. I'm going to get the same wood because like we built the tables, we built everything. So I'm going to run.
Why didn't you just buy a table?
I don't know.
Have you heard of Fantastic Furniture?
I just went to, I went to Bunnings too many times.
Give me some wood.
I just said at the end, I was like, no, that's it. I'm not doing one more trip to Bunnings.
I mean, you built this table. This is a nice table.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, like I just...
You know you can buy nice tables.
Yeah, I know, but no, too poor.
Oh, so it's cheaper to build, obviously.
Yeah. It was, I think this block of timber was like $200. And then I had to like sand it all and varnish it and shit.
Yeah, okay.
And then we got the legs.
Because this is easily a $2,000 table.
Yeah. So this is probably like I reckon a $500 table.
But if you bought it fully made, like I would do, because I'm a piece of shit and I don't know how to sand or, what was it, varnish. I don't even know what that means. So I think it means laminate it or coat it.
I swear to God, the people at Bunnings, like, they knew who I was. And because I got a van, so I'd go to the trade counter. Yeah. So like you drive, I wouldn't park in the car park. And then you'd go all the way up to the top to the trade counter. And it's the same dudes that work there all the time. Yeah. And I just looked like a fuckwit, like just lost.
So they're
the
just
whole
like,
time lost.
This guy is coming every day, but he doesn't know what he wants.
No, that's exactly what happened. And they're like, this cunt isn't a tradie. And I'm like in the trade thing every time. Got a Jack Russell hanging out the window every time, wearing board shorts and fucking Adidas slides every time. It's like, who is this fucking weirdo? And I just had the most...
But you did it in the end.
Oh, in the end.
Good for you.
The running joke. Like, so we rent out these rooms to a couple friends.
Yeah.
And they're just fucking in their work and just laughing like, look at this fucking dickhead, like toiling away.
Yeah, look at this guy following his dreams. What a dickhead. That's the most Australian shit ever. You see someone pursuing their passion, everyone's like, fuckhead.
What a knob,
Yeah, everyone hates people doing something. It's like, are you doing a thing? I fucking do. Dude, take the afternoon off. Like, my friends, oh man, I get roasted for like, just like having a career. Like, I'm just like not a dead shit. So they're just like, fuck that guy.
What a loser.
Yeah.
He's not a dead shit. What a fucking loser.
That's like, is the most Australian thing is like tall poppy syndrome. It's like bad here. It's like, oh, someone's doing well. Shit on them until they stop.
It's funny, like, because obviously to be on the podcast, you have to be a person I'm like interested in talking to.
Yeah, right.
Which means you'd have to do something to be remotely interesting. And it comes up so much. Like, that's what everyone says. They're like, you just like start doing good. And then people are just like, fuck you.
Especially people in your industry. Like, no matter what it is. It's like every workplace, though. If you're a good lawyer, I'm sure other lawyers are like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm sure it's like that in every industry. Yeah.
I've sort of tried to go the other way because I feel like I used to be more negative than I am. It actually backfired on me last night, too. I was like, I'm going to be super positive to this guy that I used to think was a piece of shit that was like in the industry.
Realized he was still a piece of shit.
Yeah, and then he like had this conversation with me. I was like, fuck this guy. Yeah. this guy's actually a fuckwit. Yeah. But like for the most part.
But that doesn't mean that like, you know, you're that guy. That doesn't mean you're the guy who's always negative. That guy could just be a fuckwit.
No, that's what I resorted to. Yeah. I was like, some people are just fuckwits. But like in general, I'm trying to go the exact opposite way these days and just be super positive towards everyone. But I think it's because when you realize how hard this shit is and you're like, man, you've just got to have any level of respect for someone doing something.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, I respect like anyone who's made it to a certain point. Like even if people go, oh, he's shit, he's not, he must be so stupid. It's like, dude, you can't be stupid to get to that level of like in whatever you do. Like, I don't know, who's a dumbass? People might think, what, Charlie Sheen is a dumbass maybe. Well, he's a dickhead. It's like the dude has some level of intelligence to get where he is.
Millions of dollars.
Yes.
At one point
That's in time, probably not a good example. I don't think many people think he's a dumbass.
At one point in time, he was the highest paid television star.
Of course.
It was like millions of dollars,
yes.
per episode.
I don't know. There's probably better examples, but...
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's all like... The good example would be like footy players.
For sure.
Where they're like, what a fucking piece of shit, he pissed in his own face. Yeah. And it's like, the cunt's trained pretty hard though. Like, yeah, he's a pretty good footy player.
Earned that piss in his face. How dare you? You know?
Don't take this away from him.
It's like that guy is the reason why I vaguely follow footy still. And, you know, because I'm like, he's out there giving his all on the weekend. And it's like, he can do what he wants on a Sunday. I don't give a shit.
Dude, speaking of sport, do we not give a fuck about Bathurst apparently?
Is that on?
Yeah.
Ah, sick.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's here in like 2 weeks' time, isn't it? On the Gold Coast?
I think so. Yeah, because I'm going to it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It is.
Oh, you'd want to know.
Yeah,
just so you attend it?
Yeah, I was like, I've got to shoot photos on Friday.
Because of like car racing and Red Bull. And
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I still do that occasionally.
So you like an adrenaline junkie? No, you just photograph adrenaline junkies.
No, so I used to race. So I used to race motocross, and that was like all I wanted to do, basically. I was like, I'm going to be professional, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to fuck bitches and get money.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not very good. So then
that's what I was like with footy as a kid. You know, like every kid is like, I grew up in Melbourne, so every kid in Melbourne's like, I'm going to be an AFL player. And I started Auskick and I was killing it, and I got 4th best and fairest in juniors, and I was like, I think if I'm only 4th best and fairest in my local under 16s team,
and we suck.
Yeah, and we stink. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go well. So then I was in a band for a bit.
Really?
And then I played a few battle of the bands. We didn't win any. And I was like, I don't think this is what I'm good at. And then I did comedy and started bombing heaps. And I was like, now this is what I'm good at.
I could be consistently terrible at this.
Exactly. But then luckily I got better at the comedy thing.
Yeah, you definitely did. No, I ended up just doing the film thing because I wanted to stay in the industry. Like a lot of my friends went pro. Yeah. So then I was like...
so you just wanted to keep hanging out with them.
I was just like, we just need to keep the band together.
Yeah.
So then I got a camera. I like literally maxed out an $8,000 credit card on a camera, and that tripod there actually. And then
just so you could go on like boys' weekends to Bathurst and stuff like that.
Well, I just followed them around like as they were doing their pro career, and it was like right when YouTube was sort of starting to be a thing.
Yeah.
So then I just started posting shit to YouTube.
And did that help blow them up? Like.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that a thing? I'm not. I don't have any idea about that field. But is it like UFC, where if you have like a bigger profile, kind of off or out of the cage, and like Conor McGregor is so much of a brand at this point, is why he gets paid huge money to fight. He is a great fighter. Yeah. But it's also because he has a big brand outside of it, kind of like Dustin Martin in the AFL.
Yeah,
like
I don't know who that is.
He plays for Richmond. He's just like on billboards. Like I reckon he'd make half of his money from brand deals and endorsements, then he and then the other half from actually playing footy. Is it like that with motocross? Or?
So these days it's getting more so. Back then it was like it was so behind that it's like no one had seen anything.
Right.
So it wasn't like that was an extra push for people. It was like this whole thing's just so new. Like actually filming these guys not at the races and then filming them behind the scenes at the races. It was like super early days, like vlogging almost.
Yeah.
But like around the sport. And then what happened is brands were like, oh, we should do like a brand video. Like this guy's like, he's a rock star or Red Bull or whatever athlete. So like can you film him making with our product, and then we'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how it worked out.
That's smart. So, it's smart for brands to get on board.
But now you see that shit like, that's so common.
I mean, yeah, it's most TV even.
Yeah, basically. Well, have you watched The Block?
Yeah, on and off.
That is an ad.
Of course.
All of The Block is an ad.
All those shows are an ad. And even like all the TV shows is an ad for the other TV shows. Like, have you been paying attention? It's just an ad for The Bachelor and all other Channel 10 shows. They just go like, all right, on The Bachelor this week, which is also our show, which you can watch on 7:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. Like they
and what's happening in it is, and we're going to bring her out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a fight.
Yep.
And then we're going to, have you been paying attention? Nope.
No.
You lost me about to.
Yeah. And then all you realize is no one actually watches, except for me, watches The Bachelor.
Have you noticed that's been happening a little bit with the whole podcast world though?
What?
So Andrew Schultz, you said you guys had him on the show.
Yeah.
So he was on your show, he was on Isaac's show.
Yeah.
And then I saw him, where did I watched him, it was back in America. And it was like, you could see he was like doing bits, like podcast bits.
Oh yeah.
Like he had his topics.
But
and he was doing a tour. And it's very it's a comedian thing to do. But I feel like
I don't do that.
You don't,
because I just would rather go with the flow and have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to push a certain
but
way
I
of
think
thinking.
that has leaked into the podcast world a little bit.
I mean, it's kind of like how on Tonight shows in America, like when, Ricky Gervais or whoever is telling a story, it's not like, yes, they're like, hey Jimmy, that time when, they've gone to him like, oh, you know how the industry works. It's like, hey, what would you like to talk about? What should I say to segue into this story? And we'll make it come off as a natural conversation.
Dude, Jimmy Fallon is the worst.
Yeah, and he just pisses himself laughing, hits the table. Oh my God, you're so funny. Oh my God. I went to watch a taping in New York last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a story about it, and it's going to be a plug, but at the end of my special, I have a story about bumping into Kesha backstage because she was the musical act.
So how did you get backstage to it?
I had a mate who does the sign writing. He writes the cards. So you know how like we have teleprompters in Australia? They, at NBC, for some reason, because it's like a traditional thing for SNL and Jimmy Fallon, they still hand write the lines and flip the cards. I think it's just because it's like a tradition thing, and maybe some of the older presenters like Fallon, who started off with the cards on SNL, just prefer using the handmade cards.
That seems backwards as fuck.
But that's his job, so he just sits there and writes cards all day.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of showing me, like, I was like, how many did you write today? And he had like, 40 or 50 cards, and you just got to write in the same handwriting. It's kind of a strange job.
That's a uber weird job.
And it's like a job there was 3 people doing it, and I was like, that's how much money they're making. They're just kind of paying people to keep up traditions.
You know what, like...
They could cut, $300K a year there.
That's what
I'm paying those 3 guys. I don't know how much they get paid. Probably not $100K, but...
Yeah, but still, it's like, you got to think, it's in New York, right?
Yeah.
So, this is what I always sort of say when people have a job. It's like, when you have a job, basically your boss is just going like, all right, so I'm going to let you live within this price range. Like, you can live a lifestyle that's worth about 60 grand. Are you cool with that? Because I'll pay for that lifestyle for you. And then you're like, I feel like I could make it work.
Yeah.
And then he like gives you this money to like make it work, that you still show up to work every day, but you've got to like kind of live within that window.
Yep.
So it's like, there's a dude at NBC that's like, we need some cards to be written out.
Yeah.
So we got to find someone and just pay for his whole life in New York City within a $60,000-$70,000 window. Like, that seems like a lot of money that just goes like out into the world to just have cards written. Yeah,
and they could like just be typing it. Like, I'm sure they, I don't even know how the scripts work. I'm assuming they write the scripts on a computer and then they write it out. So it's like, dude, just copy paste it into the teleprompter. That's one person's job, instead of 3 people writing cards.
It is that.
But I feel like I don't want them to hear this podcast and then my mate gets fired now. They're like, oh shit, we didn't think of that. We could have been saving heaps of money.
Or it's like, you get the next dude that comes on and it's like, no, I like him in a tablet. So you got a stone mace and chip it away.
Yeah, like that's the 10 Commandments, but it's just Jimmy Fallon's monologue. It's so crazy how loaded that dude is. I went out with them after the show. It was a Wednesday night show, and my mate's like, oh, come out for beers. We go. It's like near Rockefeller Center. Just across the road, there's some pub, and he's like, oh, every Wednesday, Jimmy Fallon just pays for a tab, so come over and there's free beers all night. So one night, just Jimmy Fallon was just paying for my beers all night. And I was like, he doesn't even care how many people is there. Because like, it will be like $4,000 at the end of the night. That's like,
chump change.
He wouldn't even pick that up off the ground.
Nah. Like, how much does he get paid an episode, do you know?
I would imagine
let's find out.
A lot. I mean, if people like, I know the Big Bang Theory people are getting paid, I heard something ridiculous. I heard $1 million an episode, but I don't think that's right. Maybe it is.
Oh, dude, I think Charlie Sheen at some point was like $7 million a show or something.
An episode,
or $3 million an episode.
Why do you need that much money at that point? What are you spending it on?
How much money does Jimmy Fallon make per show? So $16 million a year.
And do they do it? Is there off seasons?
Off seasons?
I mean, is there like time off, or like is it seasonal? The show?
No, I think it just goes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot more. That's a lot less than I was expecting.
I thought a little bit more too, to be honest.
But you know what? I bet he's not paying for those beers. I bet it's NBC. I bet that doesn't come out of his $16 million.
But he'd like you to believe it, wouldn't he?
Yes, I bet. If I was only making, I mean, not only, that's a lot of money, but if I was making $16 million a year, I wouldn't just pay for some random guy from Australia's beers every Wednesday.
I don't know that I'd be buying many people beers if I had $16 million. Like, get the fuck out.
Really?
Get the fuck out.
I sometimes shout my mates that I'm so poor. I'm just a nice guy.
Yeah, but I do that because I'm poor.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Because you're just like, you're like, I'm one of the people.
Yeah, I'm doing this. If I get that much money, there's no way I'm caring about other people. Get the fuck out of here.
You're like, I can't see them from my helicopter. I was like, fuck those peasants.
I cared for all these people when I was poor. Yeah. I'm fucking not doing it now. I'm rich. But yeah, $45 million net worth.
Jimmy Fallon's net worth stands at 45. It's not
that much, really. But what does he do?
I mean, we're saying that's not much. That's more money than I'll ever have or see.
Ever.
So it is a lot.
Have you ever thought about that? Like I think about, this is like let's say a car you want to get, and then you like know your current bank balance, and then you're like, it's not just an easy way to just get that car. You know what I mean? Like, you're pretty far away from it.
Gambling.
It's like you'd have to, like, what would have to happen? Like, someone would have to download your special, like, randomly a fuck ton of times. Like,
I mean,
today,
no, like,
30,000 people downloaded my special.
Save like Kevin Hart tweeted my special link. You know, something like that would have to happen. Yeah. That happened to that Australian band, 5 Seconds of Summer.
Really?
So it was so weird. Do you know that band?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I used to be like really into pop punk and stuff in my teenage years.
Yeah.
And I used to follow these random Australian pop punk bands. One day, these 4 guys singing in their bedroom popped up on my YouTube, and I was like, yeah, they're alright. You know, they're pretty good. They were doing some cover of a song that I liked. I started following them. They had like 1,000 likes on their Facebook page. 3 weeks later, the guy from One Direction just tweeted out their cover, like Niall or one of the guys.
Yeah.
And then within 3 months, they were on the road with the biggest band in the world, touring arenas. And they were just this like 4 guys from high school. So that does happen.
Yeah.
But to like, you know, it's to the 0.0001%. It can happen. And I guess now those guys are millionaires and they're killing it.
But that's what I mean. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, that would have to happen to you. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
that
there
would have to
be
happen.
There would have to be some kind of, and the same with me for this. But then there's even like I guess with the special, people like buy a special. It's like a PayPal thing.
Yeah.
But like with this, say something like,
but
Rogan
that's not how
tweets
I make my money though. It's like that is a one income stream, but it's just like I'm not relying on my yearly income from this comedy special. I do tours all throughout the year. I do gigs. I do, you know, some corporate stuff. Like, you just do whatever. Like, if I just relied on people buying my comedy special on my website, I would be in a gutter.
You do one, and then that's it.
Yeah, like I don't even know how it's been up for a week, so I don't know how it's gone yet. I don't ask for like reports and stuff. I used to be like really obsessed with like how many tickets have I sold to this show and like how many things have I sold, and now I'm just like, I can't change the number. I'll just promote it as well as I can, do all the marketing, and then it is what it is. And my life doesn't change either way.
I feel like comedy, the way that, especially in an industry like here, like, do you watch Kill Tony at all? Like, do you follow Tony?
I'm aware of it. I don't.
I watch that. That's like my morning. Put that on, like, do shit around the house, because it's like,
it's brutal podcast.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. But there's some dimes on there, dude. Like some absolute gems. There's a guy, Malcolm Hatchett.
Yeah.
And have you watched that? I'll send you a link to it. It's like this 7-minute thing. So basically, he comes on and he gets his minute and he just fucking kills. And then they're like,
I've always thought about what I'd do, because I was like, I went to the comedy store last year and I know about the podcast, and I was like, if I had a minute, like, I don't even know.
It's an art in itself.
It's an art to get people on, not only on your side laughing, but then like piercing themselves and going like, yes, we want more in a minute. Like, I've done that in maybe 3 minutes, because you could tell a little story and stuff. 1 minute is like, what do you do? Like one-liners, like, that would work, because I feel like that would bomb and people like, get off.
I think it's more like, from what I've seen,
you just got to come on and say something that goes bang.
Well, I think it's like a presence too.
Yeah.
Like you there's people that like look funny. Like when you walk on this, and not in the literal like physical sense, like, oh, he's got a fucking weird head. But like there's like a confidence that is
the way you
funny.
carry yourself.
Yeah, there's like a presence. So I think that is instantly like, you have to go on in that minute and look funny.
Is there people who have had careers being made out of that podcast?
So this is that guy. So Malcolm Hatchett. Yeah. So he's a black dude. He's from North Carolina. Yeah. He's living in a car in... Well, he's not anymore. He was living in a car in fucking Hollywood, sharing at a Planet Fitness. And like, he literally just said that. Like, he said these kind of like funny... we should just play it and then I'll just delete it out, because it's super fucking funny.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Yeah, like,
I've never watched much. I know one
he's
guy
coming
that's
next.
been on it.
I think he's coming in like a couple weeks. I think that's first 7 appearances.
So he's like a regular.
So he is now.
Wow, and I'm excited about this. It's one word.
So sorry, podcast, we're gonna have to delete this later. So just bear with us a minute. So have you never watched any of these?
Not really. I've watched a couple, maybe, of ones that have gone viral. Is that Travis Barker in the background? Is that the Aquabats?
I was finna leave. Shit.
shit, God real. Y'all hear my heart beating? You ever go to court and think you get community service? I fucked up, hold up. You ever go to court and think you're going to jail, but you get community service? But then you go to jail because you don't do community service? And if you in jail for community service, you can't be walking around like, I'm here for community service. Dude walk up on you and be like, what you in here for? You better be like, hours, nigga. I'm in for hours. I got an aunt, she fat, she just started working out. And she always reward herself when she work out. The other day she was on Facebook, she said, just left the gym. Walk 2 miles, I'm gonna reward myself. I said, I messaged her back, I said, that's why you fat. Eat McDonald's. You need to cancel that membership.
It's not a lot of time, eh?
I mean, he did good. Was that the one that got him famous? I don't think so.
Nah, so then...
And then they just roast you, yeah?
This
or
is...
compliment you.
So they sort of do like a mix of roasting, mix of complimenting. But I think his interviews made him a little bit more, like got him a little bit more...
He is likable. Like already I'm just like, oh, I want to kind of hear what this guy has to say.
So like, I think the interview made it more, like his story, when they got into his story, it sort of made his bit even better.
Amazing. His interview was unfucking believable.
Yeah, so like the interview that they did after, it was like they talked to him for 7 minutes.
These people already know who he is from 2 weeks ago.
He's got like that fucking Ghetto Fresh Prince vibes, you know?
Yeah.
I'm back. What's up? Shit. I hooked up with a homeless lady.
This minute's good.
Because I'm homeless. After we got done, she looked at me, she said, so what are we? I said, bitch, we still homeless. Now go back to that tent. She told me, okay. I hate fat girls talk about other fat girls. I was at the mall the other day, my homegirl, she said, look at that big bitch over there. I said, bitch, that's your shadow. This is you and that's you, both of you. Scoot over, bitch. I got pulled up by the cops the other day. I was so scared I snatched up my homeboy in the passenger seat. Cop said, you know you speeding? I said, yeah, but Antonio got crack in his pocket. I said, I got this officer. Antonio, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Cop, give me your gun. Antonio, get back in the car. We stole that nigga gun. Bad boys back.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's fucking good, eh?
So is that like the standard? Like, is that I don't know what's a good or
they're
bad
shit.
set.
They're
they're
shit.
always shit.
Yeah. So like 9 times out of 10. So for people listening, I'll give you a little bit of context.
Because I went to an open mic at the Improv one night, and
was it shit?
Like it was like every open mic, like
yeah, hit or miss.
70% shit, 30% great, and there's no in the middle. Like there's no middle ground. It's either terrible or fuck, this guy's sick. I think it's because when someone good comes on after 3 people have bombed, you're like, oh, this is
really
great.
Appreciate it. Yeah. But yeah, so basically they, Tony Hinchcliffe, he has like a bit of a panel, gets a comedian on, and then they do a live show at a comedy store, and it's an open mic, but they only get 1 minute.
Yeah.
And then they interview them after. So I think Malcolm's interviews are probably what made him more famous, because like his story was just crazy. Like he was like sharing a Planet Fitness, and like he had jokes in his interview basically. Like he really was like working, like he was working Tony.
Yeah,
in a sense, you know. So I think that's kind of.
He seems like a guy who's naturally funny. And it's like naturally like a guy in the street, and you're like, oh, you can tell when some people are the same guy.
Yeah,
like, you'd be like the same if I spoke to you at a restaurant.
Dusty.
Yeah,
same dude.
I feel like I'm the same person. I don't have like an on-stage persona. A lot of comedians do. They're like, there's like on stage them, and then off stage.
Well, I feel like that would be like Nick Schwartz is kind of like that. I reckon. Yeah. Like, and he's just like a character of himself. Yeah. And that like you can't be that dude all the time. And I feel like you just get so over playing that fucking character. Like, yes. And I think then that's when you see those like real bitter, twisted, resentful old comics. It's because they've like played this fucking caricature of themselves for so long.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. No. I just have to be myself. And I think you can't do that in the world of podcasting either. You can't play a character all the time or you'll go insane.
Yeah, and I think that it's like, especially like this show, like we'll do it for like hours, you know, and it's like, I feel like for an hour you could fake it and like put forward a version of yourself, but by 3 hours, and like especially if you're smoking weed or drinking, or you're just like you're yourself. Yeah. And if you're a fuckwit, you're a fuckwit.
Yeah. How many fuckwits How many fuckwits have you had on this podcast?
I'm on here every week.
Oh, great.
Every show.
Every episode.
That's it. Like whenever anyone's like, "Oh, I've been listening to the show," and I was like, "Dude, you already know I'm a wanker." Yeah. Like everybody that listens to this show just haven't figured out I'm a wanker yet. Well, save yourself the time. You already know.
I mean, like if they hadn't figured it out, they have now. I don't think you're a wanker. You seem like a nice guy. We've only known each other for about 40 minutes.
That's what's weird about these things too. Yeah. Is you're like, "Hey, I'm here," and then
some people forget that. I think like when they listen to the podcast, you're like, oh, these two people chat, and you're like, sometimes
they don't know each other.
They don't know each other.
Yeah. Well, I had one the other week. It was I had a feeling it was going to be a tiny bit weird, but not as weird as it got. It was like they're called the Craze Co. And they like, do you remember in Sydney that like they do all those pranks on 420, like the giant weed tree and fucking whatever the mall thing is in Sydney, and then they did like a fake dispensary. They do all of these like.
I'm not into that world.
Yeah. So anyway, they're very into that world, and I had them on. I was just like super weird, but I was like, it's interesting, maybe. But yeah, that's like. But again, it's like you don't know, and you have a lot of times you'll have like a conversation on Instagram.
I feel like that would be one of the appeal of this podcast is like you kind of don't know what you're going to get every episode. Yeah, and that's the cool part. That's why it keeps people coming back.
Yeah, maybe. It's weird it's weird just what keeps people coming back too. And like you find a lot of people will just be super diehard about a podcast. Like everyone's got like their thing that they listen to. Yes. And they might have like 3 or 4 that are like fringe. Yes. But they have like one thing. Yeah. And I feel like that's what happened with like Rogan's one. Is like Rogan's was that nucleus. Yes. And then people started having their own around it, and then it was just that was like the little fringe thing.
So many podcasts that stemmed off that, like Theo's and Fighter and the Kid, bunch of the ones in LA. There's a whole podcast scene over there, whereas there's not really that in Australia yet. I feel like there could be, and there will be in about 5 years. Yeah, because there's a bunch of people who are starting, and I'm sure there'll be just a network that stems off everyone else's.
Yeah, that's been one of my goals with this too, because obviously like living there. And I could see it happen over there. Like I was just around those people. Yeah. And I could see.
So you did some work, you were just saying before, for Brendan and Brian.
Yeah, like a little bit. Yeah. And it was more like, I guess like consulting in a way with just the film side of things. Because their studio is actually literally across the street from my old house. Oh, right. So like the building, same with where Theo records his. So I think
Theo's moved now to a different one.
Oh, I wonder if they're in the same building though.
I think Joe moved as well. I mean, I follow it on Instagram. I don't keep up with that much, but I know there's some new studios happening.
Yeah, his is out in like Malibu. Joe's like,
that's a while away.
Maybe not Malibu, but like it's around that area. Big. It's fucking crazy. Dude.
I didn't even see it all. I was there for 5 days and I saw like Venice Beach, and I stayed on Hollywood Boulevard like a dickhead. And I had to,
it's a shithole,
every fucking morning, a Hulk would be like, want to get a photo? I'm like, fuck off, Hulk. You asked me that yesterday.
That was the other Hulk, bro. This is my day.
Fucking Mexican Superman who was balding. And I was like, dude, you're not...
Do you feel sorry for them people?
Yes, because I was just like, he's not even putting an effort. That's what was bothering me. I'm like, you're not even doing the little Clark Kent hair curl on the forehead. I was like, you're not even trying. Like, you're balding. You don't look like Superman. Like, at least if you don't look like the person, do a character with a mask. I'm sure Hulk didn't look like Bruce Banner, but when he puts on the mask, he looks like Hulk. Yeah. So it's like there was a guy who kind of looked like what's the other guy with you can see the face? Some superhero. I don't know, Captain America. There was a guy who looked like Captain America. And I was like, oh, you kind of look like the guy from, I get that. I see why someone in your personal life was like, you should do, man. You should stand out here every day like a piece of shit and rip off tourists. And he was like, I should do that. I kind of look like the guy. But when you see like some balding 40-year-old who's like, oh, I think I look like Superman. Someone in his personal life should have been like, dress up as the Hulk, bro. It's not for you.
Wait, Nacho Libre. That's you. You need to be Nacho Libre.
It's like, dude, you look like fucking Jack Black, not Clark Kent. That's a wake-up call when you look a little like Nacho Libre than a superhero.
And then even more exposing of your personality when you still decide to dress up as Superman, not Nacho Libre. There's a lot of tells going on here. We can learn a lot about him.
But yeah, I stayed in some like, you know what I stayed in? I found out when I got there. I put it on my Instagram story and all these people started messaging me, all these girls. I was staying at the La Palms Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard, which is apparently the hotel that is at the end of Pretty Woman. Where he like comes to her and she comes out the window, and I then looked it up. I'd never seen the film. All these girls were like, "Oh my god, you're staying at the place from Pretty Woman," and they were like, "That's so cool." And I was like, "No, it's not, because that was filmed in the 80s and they haven't changed it. There are Julia Roberts' stains still on the floor. Like it's brutal." Like, it was a shithole. It was one of those places where they hadn't laid the carpet properly, and you trip over like lumps of carpet that were sticking up. Yeah, it was a hazard. That place was just a waiting to be like burnt down for insurance purposes.
Dude, we after Supercross in LA, I was at Dodger Stadium. Yeah. One of my buddies, he was just trying to get some puss. He had like a chick from college that moved to LA, and it was her birthday party. Yep. And it was in the weirdest fucking place ever. It was in like this Asian like Koreatown sort of place, but then it was a pirate bar. So then you had to like knock on the door with like a fucking like a big brass door handle.
And a guy
thing.
with one eye answers it. And it's like, huh.
Yep.
It's just grunts at you on the way.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Literally.
Sick.
He had like an eye patch on. And then he goes, "What's the password?" And then I'm like, "The password." And then he just slammed it, like just in character. Not like, "Hey man, you need the password to come in here." Literally like a fucking pirate would, like, slam the door.
And then he didn't get let in.
And then we're like, "All right, cool." So then he like texts his friend. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, you've got to say 'Shiver Me Timbers.'" So I'm not joking.
I would have been like, "I'm leaving. I'm going home."
That's what I said.
Because if this is the entry point at the bar, it's only going to get shitter from here. It's like, I don't want me to end up on some weird walking the plank thing at 2 a.m. being like, "How did I get here? I just was trying to get some puss." And now I'm fucking walking an imaginary plank in some bar.
So we
a pirate bar.
Yeah. So we get in. Everyone's dressed like a pirate. I'm dressed like I just filmed for 12 hours at a Supercross race.
So a pirate. I feel like if you put on a hat, you could and took off the hipster glasses, you could be a pirate.
I got the beard.
Yeah.
Black eye. I'd do an eye patch on the non-black eye. I'd be fucking
I look like not a pirate. I look like the Navy guy's rich son. You know what I mean? Like that guy in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like,
and you've got a wig with like curly white hair.
My dad would be absolutely part of like the Navy, not the pirate side. Yeah, I don't give off pirate vibes at all.
Oh, I'm glad. I feel like I'm half happy I give off pirate vibes.
That's cooler. I think it's way cooler to be like an outlaw in that situation. You're one of the people.
I got a comment on YouTube the other day that said, "I'm the most feminine guy a man has ever seen."
Have they seen me? I look like the Commandeer's son.
The Commandeer. Is
that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I was like, fuck, I wish I could chime in with that word.
Yeah, I watched Pirates of the Caribbean quite recently.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
But yeah, so anyway, we got in the...
Wait, I can't believe someone said that to you.
Yeah, I know, weird, eh? But it actually made me feel good because I was like, oh, that's how wrong people are. I was like, cool. No drama, okay. I'm down with that. But because... the problem with comments is like when some of them get them like fairly right, and you're like,
"Oh, my comment section
right, you cunt.
Is so brutal." Like
really?
Under my videos, I get like, "You look like a rejected Jonas brother," and I was like, "Fuck, they're right." Like, I was like, I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, "Oh my god, I should give Nick and Joe a call, like, if in case Kevin ever pulls out." And I know their names.
That's fucking amazing. Yeah, the ones that are right, they're the ones that fucking really hurt, don't they? But
so you're at a pirate bar.
So we get into the bar, and like it was so bad. Like it was just every bit as bad as like the entrance story. And then, you know, when you've got like that one friend that just like is just so keen to like get this chick. Yeah. It's been like this high school or college fucking fantasy that he just never let go of. And it was instantly apparent that she was not, like nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we spent the whole night basically trying to convince him that this is a super shit idea.
Yeah. He's watched one American Pie film and thinks this
could happen. Yeah, he's like, dude, I watched The Girl Next Door before I came, and I'm like, I fucking feel like I know what it takes. And then so anyway, it all goes
like, mate, you're in a pirate bar right now. No one's getting laid here.
The dude in the costume that's fucking way better looking than you, and actually in the theme, like to go with her pirate outfit.
Yeah.
Like she's not walking out with a dude in Vans.
No.
On her birthday
she's walking out
party
with,
night.
She's walking out with Captain Feathersword.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So step up.
100%. Like she's not going home with like a dude that looks like he's an Uber driver that's just pulled in for a drink.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what's going on here. But so we, weird story to get all the way to the hotel bit. It was so late that I was like, dude, we got to find a hotel. I'm fucked. We've been working all day. We got to stay here tonight.
You didn't have a hotel?
No. So we were going to drive back, but where I was living at the time was like an hour, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, dude, I'll die if we drive home. Plus we were drunk. So I was like, well, the only thing to do here is get a hotel.
Yeah.
So then we go, and it was like exactly what you said. Like the shittest hotel from like the 60s. Yeah. And they hadn't changed anything. So we got in, the place smelled like cats, like fucking heavy stench of cats. And then it was we paid the dude.
So we did get some puss, but it wasn't vagina. It was cat stank.
He got pussy allergies. That's it. Yeah. But then the fucking the elevator was like one of those old ones where you have to manually fucking close it. And I was like,
what do you mean?
Have you never seen those?
An elevator where you have to shut the door.
Yeah, it's so old that you shut the door and then you like pull the lever.
Nope, I wouldn't get in. I'd be like, oh, stairs are a thing. Let's do that. That's safer.
That's my rule, basically, that I try and live by. That if you have to manually operate the elevator, that you shouldn't be in that building.
Of course.
It's too old to have an elevator. So then we got in there, got in the room, and the fucking shower curtains had blood stains all over them. The room smelled terrible, and I was like, I don't give a fuck how drunk I am. I'm driving home. So we just fucking pieced out.
So this story just ends with a felony and just a drink driving.
Just a drink
story,
driving. Yeah. And then I moved back to Australia, started this podcast.
Yeah, that's your life story. You're like, and it all started in a pirate bar
with a password.
And now I'm here.
Oh fuck! But yeah, so yeah, that was a weird and long story.
That's a good story.
But to get to the hotel bit, that's what hotels are like there.
So you paid for a hotel room, and saw a blood
dipped.
stain, and didn't sleep there.
Dipped. I was like, I'm not getting in that bed. Absolutely not. There's no chance.
It would have been a fun game. How many diseases can I catch? You know?
Because they have like bed bugs over there.
Of course.
Like legit bed bugs.
Yeah, you could probably...
Can you get them here? I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them though.
Lewis, Lewis Spears, another comedian, I do a podcast with him, and he got bed bugs in Manhattan in his Airbnb, and then he was wrapped because then he got 50% off. He's staying in Manhattan. He's like, yeah, it was a bit itchy, but he's like, you know, that's a sweet deal.
That's when you know you're up and coming.
Yeah, it's like you get eaten, but you know,
I'm here doing the damn thing.
Yeah, it's like you can stay in New York for doubles long. You know, more Central Park. Fuck yeah.
You've been in New York
been to LA and New York.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
New York's a fucking trip, eh?
I love New York. I hated LA.
Yeah, right.
LA's a shithole.
Why did you like New York over LA?
Oh, just like more to do, better to get around. Like as a tourist, a lot easier to just stay in Manhattan and there's stuff to do.
Yeah.
With LA, it was like everything's so far away. I didn't have a car, so I was like, you know, getting Ubers, and it was costing me fucking heaps. And by the end, I was just like walking from like Hollywood Boulevard to the Comedy Store like 30 minutes. I was just like, I'll just walk there or whatever. So it was just like, you know, and there's not that much to do. I think it's a place that would be great if you're working there, and if you have a career there and a life there, you're like, great. I get why people live there because the weather is nice. But just visiting, I didn't do any of the cool shit. I didn't go to Disneyland.
Because that's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah, I was like in Anaheim, and the guy I was with had already been. So I was like, he's like, I don't want to go again. I've already been before. And I was like, well, I want to go with someone who actually wants to be there. So I'll just go next time.
You have to go to Disneyland.
Of course.
The fucking material that comes out of that place.
I went to Movie World on Friday. I hadn't been since I was 10.
Oh, I saw that on your story.
Yeah, it was sick.
Do you have a ball?
I mean, yeah, I went on that new Hypercoaster one, and
which one's that?
It's like
is that the Joker one?
Yeah, the Joker one. It's like the purple one. It's really long. Yeah, it goes for about 2 minutes. You know, the Superman ride goes like 45 seconds max, but this one it's big, and you know, like I don't know, when I go on a roller coaster that's hectic, for the rest of the day, I feel like someone kicked me in the balls 3 hours ago. You know, like I have that feeling of like I feel like the pit in your stomach. I'm just like someone's got me, but hours ago, and I'm still walking around with the pain. That's how I felt all day after that.
So you know it was good.
Yeah, it was sick. it was awesome. Yeah. And I went on the Scooby-Doo twice. That's my favorite ride.
The Scooby-Doo like the where you get in the cart. Yeah. And then, you know what? That actually is a fucking gangster ride,
It's a banger, and you go backwards, and then it's
it's all dark and shit.
Yeah, it's cool. That one was good.
Yeah, well, the old Disneyland trip, that'll fucking blow your noodle.
I definitely want to go to Disneyland next time.
It's so weird.
I think I'm going to go to America a couple of times next year, because we're trying to like build a few things over there. Yeah. Like just with podcasting and stuff. So hopefully I'll make it over there and get a chance.
So how long have you been doing the podcast? Because you started radio, right?
Yeah, we're back on radio. I'm doing radio tonight in Broadbeach. So we started on radio like October 2017.
Yeah.
And how did that all come about? Started. Well, I was about to say that. I almost said that's how Luke and Lewis started. I'm
sure at one point, surely. Don't lie to me.
So it all started where I knew Cackling Jack, who is his name's Jack Post, the third guy of Hamish and Andy from Community Radio. Yeah. I'd met him a couple of times. Lewis knew Sam Kavanagh, who was Hamish and Andy's producer. He was like kind of half, his cousin was family friends, like vaguely knew him through people. And we kind of just got an email and sent in a demo. Like one day he just came over to our house. We recorded this break about fonts, like how Lewis doesn't like people when they wear like a Comic Sans with like a Helvetica on the top or like a Times New Roman up front. He's like, I just hate when people mix fonts. I was like, wait, so if you have like a Adidas logo, and you know it would piss him off if he had a different font. Anyway, it was dumb. It wasn't even that funny.
I could see it.
We are blindly confident, and then we just cut together a few other clips from other podcasts we'd done, like live podcasts we'd done on our individuals.
So you did podcasts before.
He has one called Spearhead Sundays, and I have one called Memoirs of a White Guy,
which was our solo the radio
ones.
Stuff.
Yeah, so we had solo ones that we were doing, but then occasionally when we'd have each other on as guests on our own podcast and stuff. So we cut together the best moments from that. Recorded one break together in my lounge room with one microphone, and then sent it in. And looking back on that now, I'm like, that's very naive, thinking like this is good enough for Drive, you know, like this is what they want, font chat. And they loved it, and they were like, oh, come in next week. And then we met Dave Cameron, who's one of the big high ups at SCA. Yeah. And literally within like 3 weeks we got put on Triple M Modern Digital, which is like a digital station. Yeah. We started doing 5 days a week. I quit my part-time job.
So they were paying you.
Yeah, I was like 18. I was just 19 maybe. So I was still working part-time at a golf club. So that I literally walked into the golf club. I was like, I don't work here anymore. I'm a radio star. but they only ever like gave us they were just giving us a 1 month trial. But I was just like blindly confident. I was like, we got this.
Yeah, we're doing it.
And I quit my job. And I should probably message him. I never really quit. I kind of just like, I'm not coming in next week. And then I never came back. I should probably shoot him a text. It's been like 3 years. Hey bro, by the way, I'm not coming in anymore.
I'm still like, I don't know if you did any like tax file stuff, but I'm actually out.
Just kind of left. But that was an awesome job at the golf club. But yeah, then just kept on doing radio. And then we did eventually after about 6 months, we got on Fox, which is like, whatever your version of Hit is in Melbourne.
Oh,
it's like,
I don't, yeah.
It's like CFM or whatever you guys have in Melbourne, which is like the biggest radio station in Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah. And then now we're on National. And then at the start of the year, we decided we didn't really want to do it anymore, just because we felt like we weren't getting a lot of benefit with our stand-up out of it.
Oh, okay.
Just because like I'd be at shows and I was like, oh, so who listens to the radio show? And like 3 people would be like, woo.
I just don't think the radio is like a thing for...
And I'd be like, who listens to the podcast? And the whole crowd was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, okay, so this is why people are coming to the show.
Yeah,
not because of the radio. So then Lewis and I were like, well, let's just start a podcast. So we did kind of what you did. We built a studio with our own money. And since we've been doing that for maybe 3 months now, like Luke and Lewis, and it's been just killing it.
That's so sick.
Like off the charts. And we've noticed so much more. Like Lewis is touring at the moment. He's like, everyone is coming to the shows, is listening to the podcast, and it shows the difference. And you know, we're back on for a month just because they wanted people to like fill in for this show they have going every Sunday. And we're just like we still have a really good relationship with the radio station, but we're just kind of like, we'll be over here doing our thing, and if you want us or need us for anything, we're totally happy to, if it's if it works for both of us. But they're pretty casual. Like I was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be on the Gold Coast this weekend, so if we can do it. So I'm just doing it from the studio here. Yeah. And we do it via like Skype call. It's called ISDN. You just do it down like a line, and it's no lag. So we just do it from different studios around the country because we're always touring and for different things. That's kind of one of the reasons why we quit. Yeah. It's because like we ended up, Lewis is in Perth and I was in Sydney, and we're doing it from different studios and different time zones and shit like that. Yeah, stuff like that. And we'd be on the other side of the country to each other trying to do a radio show, and we just don't like doing shit half-assed. Yeah. So we were just like, we can pre-record podcasts. Yeah. Like we can do 2 in a day if we want, and just to knock it out. So do you just put out 1 a week? 2 a week. Tuesday, Thursday. How was did you see like a big difference in growth when you went to 2 a week, or have you always done 2 a week? No, we used to do just 1 radio show a week. We were on daily radio for a bit, so we did 5 radio shows a week. And then I guess 2 a week just seems like the right amount of people to come back every time. Yeah. It's not too much where they fall behind. Yeah. And it's not enough where they forget about you by the end of the week. Yeah. I feel like 2 a week's good for us at the moment because we also have our own personal podcast. Yeah. So it's like 3 a week for each of us. Yeah. So if you're a fan of it, it's pretty easy to listen to 3 if you really wanted to. Yeah. And they go for about an hour. So it depends. I probably only listen to about 3 podcasts a week. Maybe I try and listen to some. It's just when I'm traveling. What do you listen to? Just like the guys from America that you were talking about. I'm a fan of like Theo Von and just guys I'm a fan of. But I try not to listen to guys that I'm similar to. Yeah. I love listening to Theo because it's like you can't be him. I can't be him, and I'm not. I don't want to be that. But like when you listen to guys like even like Fighter and the Kid, sometimes it's like I feel like I have a similar sense of humor to them, and the last thing you want to do as a comic is to like you don't even realize you're doing it. Like for a bit, I was listening to Crystalia's podcast, and I feel like I noticed I could see your Crystalia style. Not that you take from him, but like I didn't know who he was really for like 2 or 3 years into comedy, and I found out who he was like a year ago kind of thing. My mate showed me, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's sick, and now he's one of my favorite comics. But I don't think my stand-up's like his at all, but definitely like just the way your general outlook. My general outlook in life, that's what I noticed. Listening to his podcast is like I was agreeing with the dumb shit that he was saying. Like it was, and I was like, I don't want to listen to this anymore because I don't want to take. It's like those things where you hear something 6 months ago and then you forget, think it's your idea. You forget about that you've heard it, and then you say it on a podcast, and then it's like, oh, that's not my idea. I heard that 6 months ago. I buried it so deep in my brain. Yeah. And then so I just didn't want that to happen. So that's one annoying thing about creating so much content yourself is I am wary of listening to too much of it, consuming too much. So then I don't want it to affect what I put out. I've been going. I totally agree. Yeah. And I think with you guys, it's different because you're coming up with new material. Like I sort of don't have any. Like I'm really just anything that I say is just through what the guest says, essentially. But there still is like a conversational style. Like when you listen to Joe Rogan, you know what you're going to get out of that. You're like, you know what kind of questions he's going to ask, what he's going to delve more into. And it's usually like the weird hypothetical, like it depends what kind of a guest he has on it. But like often they talk about, like his podcast isn't funny and it's not supposed to be. So I don't think his stand-up's that funny though. A lot of time. And I watched him at the store. I think he was trying some new stuff when I was there. It's just like, I think his comedy is kind of like his podcast. It's very intellectual. It's very deep. I like silly shit. I just love dumb stuff. Like watching D'Elia and Brian Callen at the store last year was like, I was like, okay, this is like definitely down my alley. Like Brian's on stage talking about fucking birds for like 20 minutes. And I was just, not fucking birds, like, I shouldn't have said fucking there. He wasn't talking about railing birds. He was just talking about birds. Bird banging. Yeah. But like, and that to me, like, that's just stupid and funny. That's the kind of stuff that I like, which means I sadly, I'll watch it live, but I won't consume a lot of it online because I just want to like.
You don't want to parrot anything.
Nah.
Dude, Chris D'Elia, I saw him at the store like 3 or 4 years ago.
He's great.
Fuck me. I'd never heard of him before.
But I've never seen anyone annihilate a room like that. Like having everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone in the room was like, holy shit. And then he just blew it out of the water and I felt bad for the person that had to follow him.
That's Dusty.
Oh,
Straight up.
Did Dusty follow him?
No. He kills so hard that the next comic that comes on, you just like, this sucks for them. Like you haven't even heard a word they say. Right. And you're like, there's no way. Like you can't come on after that.
Some people just have that energy.
Yeah.
They will, like there's a comic, he's one of my good friends. He's from Perth, Rory Lowe.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's just like, he's a great comic. You might have seen like he does those like Aussie Disney videos online.
No.
Like voices over like Peppa Pig and shit like that.
I haven't seen that.
Anyway, so he's like a great stand-up. And I had to follow him a few times at the lounge, and I did a whole week run there. We were both on same order every night, and the start of the week I just like did not meet his energy. There was one set where he came on just annihilated, and he's like all animated and he's bouncing around the stage, and I'm half of that. I'm just like, I'm happy to be there, but my style isn't like just
yours is like a flow.
Yeah, I just kind of like, I'm just me up there. I'm just having a chat, and and occasionally it's ups and downs. And I just didn't meet it, and the audience, I had a bit of a flat set. It wasn't bad, but I was just like, wow, what's up? Like, I did my good shit. Usually that kills. What was wrong with that? And then I was like, oh, it's because I didn't meet Rory's energy.
Yeah.
So the next night I came on after him, I was like, what's up, guys? Boom. And everyone was like, fuck yeah, same vibe. And it was great. Yeah. So I think sometimes you do have to, at least for the first few minutes of your set,
match whatever,
or ride the wave of the person before you and stand up a little, and then you can get into your own style and you bring it down. But if you go on and there's like a massive difference and the vibe's just, the audience is like, oh, what's happening? People don't even realize what's happening.
Yeah.
But what is happening is the vibe's gone, dude.
Yeah. So you're that like Dusty. So he hosts the thing at Nobby. So he's not doing a set.
I've hosted that before, and apparently,
it's a hard room.
So someone was like, "Oh man, like good luck," because they're used to Dusty hosting, and I don't know how they like new people. And I went, fucking killed. Like I was like, "What? There's nothing to worry about." I didn't even know if many people knew who he was. There was probably a few regulars there that were like, "Who the fuck is this?" But got up there and had a great set, and
that's sick.
People. I don't know. Some of the Brisbane comics were like, dude, this room's pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you not done an open mic in Fitzroy in Melbourne? Yeah. This is easy. These people are coming for comedy.
Yeah, they want to laugh.
If you can't make people who have said, like, got a babysitter, planned their night, if you can't make them laugh,
you suck.
Maybe. But like, I think maybe like in Melbourne, there's so many brutal gigs that I've just done gigs in shitholes to like people who aren't listening. So it's
how
like,
do you deal with that at the start? Because like that would be it's the same with any creative pursuit. Like there's no way that you're going to, like, I got lucky with this. That it was
you worked hard. It's a great setup. You built a table. That's not luck. You were the fuckhead at Bunnings for weeks.
This was 2 years ago though.
So that's not luck. Everything you did to be there is like you clearly had a vision of what you wanted this to be.
Yeah,
and that's not
in
luck.
a sense, I guess.
That's not many people can actually have a thing that they wanted to do and then do all the steps over 2 years to make that thing happen. That's a skill.
Yeah, that's true.
Sticking to a thing.
But I wonder though if it wasn't as successful as it was initially,
that you would have kept going.
That's why I think I got a bit lucky in the sense that it did really well straight away.
Yep.
And then it was like, although it's hard, it's like, well, I could see myself investing in this because there was a return.
Clearly, yeah, but I feel like because you'd already invested slightly, I think you would have kept going for a bit.
Yeah.
You would have ate shit for a bit. And I think I could see myself. I was like, no, this is going to work. I wasn't good at the start. I was terrible. But I had no natural ability. I'd never done any performing in high school. I was like a footy player. I was like sports captain in year 12.
Yeah, right.
So I just like wasn't that guy. and I'd never been on a stage. The first time I went on a stage, I didn't realize that you couldn't see the audience because the lights are so bright. That's not a thing.
And so you did the whole set.
Many people, I did the whole set like with my hand as a visor, and I like a dickhead.
Oh, like, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I had no idea. So then I had to overcome not only being on the stage, I didn't know how to put the microphone back in the stand. So I felt like I had a lot of catching up to do with people who may have just delved in theatre or performance in high school. Yeah. So I spent the first 6 months working out how to perform. And then I was like, okay, now that I know how to perform, I should get good at comedy. Like I was also doing, trying to get good at comedy, but I reckon it took me like, I don't know, like a year and a bit to write a bit that was like bang. The first bit of my special I wrote, I think a year and a half in.
What did you open with in the special?
I think I opened with this bit about being in an improv class.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so that bit was actually one of the first bits. I've obviously changed it a bit since back in the day.
The girlfriend house cleaning bit.
Did you like that one?
Bit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that bit.
That was also my first ever show. So there's a few things from that special that were from 2017.
So with the Aussie comedy scene, and this is like, I'm so interested. I'm like, I guess I'm just super interested in the whole universe of how it works here because I've seen how it works over there and I know it's not here.
Very different.
Yeah, and that's the shit that piques my interest so much with anything, and that's why I think I've been so interested in the podcast in general, is because it's like I've seen over there, I watched it all happen over there. Now I'm here, and it's like I can see where it's real different. So it's like, how you were saying, I could just see that this would work. In my head, I'm like, I can see how this whole podcast thing can work for everybody.
Yes.
And I'm very interested in...
But I see that as well.
Yeah, and that's why I like connecting with guys like you. I'd love to get Lewis on and create that same thing where
that's why I spent 40 minutes coming to Burleigh on a bus today.
What?
Yeah,
why
I should have just got an Uber.
I would have got you an Uber. I just assumed that you didn't... Yeah.
No, I don't have a car. No, it was fun. No, it was sweet. But
it was
I was just like, I like going to do other podcasts, and I knew like of your podcast and stuff because it's one of the biggest podcasts in Australia. I feel like it is this podcast.
Maybe it's weird though because like the charts, it doesn't like. There's times where I've been like top 20 on the charts overall. They're weird, man.
But the charts aren't. Don't actually reflect listenership. It reflects like if you got reviews this week, iTunes also can push you up manually, I think.
Yeah, because I look at some shit, I'm like, dude, what the? Like I look at the numbers, I'm like, there's like a lot of people. Like
I've been number 2 before on the podcast charts, and I'm like, I wasn't getting as many views as Joe Rogan. So it's like the podcast charts are fucked. But who cares about the charts and stuff? This is just it's like
I actually looked at
it's more about the community that you build around the podcast and the loyal listenership and the return people. That's what matters.
It's weird though that it's like a game in a way. Like that's the one I think I've got maybe like a bit more of an analytical mind around it, just more like maybe a business mind with it, just in terms of like, okay, this is just a game now that you try to win. Because
it's kind of like people who just sit there and trade shares all day. It's like it's a thing they understand. It's clearly a thing you can make money off if you sit there all day and do it. It's probably the similar thing. It's like anything. It's like, you work out how to succeed in a certain area, in a niche area.
Yeah, because
that's what podcasting is.
Yeah, for sure. And I still think, like I was saying before, like I'm still a little bit weird about the whole, like everything else that comes with it. But like this bit, I think's fucking rad.
So what are you weird about?
Just the people listening.
Knowing you.
Yeah, just there's just a lot of people.
As in like the idea of not fame, but like fame or being known.
Yeah, well,
have you ever got recognised from the podcast?
Yeah, at the airport. Every time I go to the airport.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much every time I'm in an airport now.
See, I'm at like about 2 or 3 times a day now. Like at Movie World, it was like 3 times. Like last night, even at like a wedding I was at last night, 2 of the bartenders got a photo. So it's getting to the point where it's like, I'm hitting a demographic and they're always under 25. Yeah. It's never anyone over 25.
Yeah, that's another weird thing, like, is the demographic.
If I'm in a bar area, like when I was walking down the street in Surfers the other night, I got yelled at a few times. But it's just like drunk people like, oh, tell us a joke, or like referencing it's something I've done, or like, Lukey boy, mate. And they just... And that's the thing. That's not fame. That's just being known. That's them going like, hey, this guy. And then in the morning, they wouldn't remember. Like, they'll be like, oh, fuck, I saw that guy off the internet. What's his name?
Or no, the next time they scroll, they're like, I just fucking saw this guy. Yeah.
So I'm at that level, which is good. It's great. It's cool. Yeah. It's kind of thing you don't think about really when you're doing stuff like this. It's like, oh, there's a lot of people enjoying this, and that's cool. And
it feels like a lot of responsibility though, which
I guess I forget about it. I just like, I think for a bit I got caught up in that, not like caught up in it like ego wise. I just was like pressure wise. I was like, oh no, I've got to, you know, churn out so much content so then people keep liking me. And I was like, now I'm just like, fuck it, like if people like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. Not everyone's gonna like you. It's like when I get a negative comment and you're like, okay, just don't like me.
Yeah,
that's fine. I actually don't mind when people go like, this wasn't funny. It's like, cool. What I hate the type of comment is when people just comment something fucking stupid underneath, or like they take a joke seriously. That's what really pisses me off. It's like, I disagree with this. It's like, hold up, champ. Was this a stand-up clip? Yes or no? And they're like, oh yes. It's like, cool. You don't have to agree or disagree. Yeah. You just laugh or not. That's what it is. That's what stand-up is.
This is the exchange we've entered into.
Well, that's the problem with comedy these days. It's like people are like, I agree with Dave Chappelle. I disagree with Dave Chappelle. And it's like, you don't have to agree or disagree with him. Just watch it. Yeah. And you either don't like it or you do.
I disagree with my girlfriend 67 times a day.
Yeah.
I still like her.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Usually if you disagree with a comedian 67 times, by the end of the show, you'll be like, fuck this guy. But I don't think you should disagree. Like, I've been to, you know, Jim Jeffries' 2 arena shows. I've been to see him. And there's some stuff he said that it's like, I thought maybe at the time, like, oh, I don't agree with that. And it's like, no. I just was like, oh, fuck. Like, I wouldn't say that. But I'm also just like, it's a good joke. Yeah. And that's a great joke. I wouldn't say that joke, but fucking good on him. I was like, that's a banging punchline.
I think like I'm blessed with the comedy thing because I feel like I can just take, like, I don't even look to agree. All I'm doing is
that's
like,
the thing. Yeah, I'm never just searching for it, but some people are. Twitter is.
That's what's weird to me. I'm like, okay, so I like stand-up comedy and it's fun for me because I don't have to agree. I can just laugh if it's fucking funny. Yeah. And if it's not, you don't. Like it. That's what the exchange is. Like I'm not even looking at it as a storyline of like, It's like, dude, he wasn't trying to like make friends or make this thing right. It was just like, this is super funny to talk about.
And that's the problem as well. Like people get shitty with, I think there's always like stories that come out of comedy clubs as like, you know, this comedian said this and it's like, it wasn't funny. And it was just a horrible thing to say. It's like, fair enough. That may not have been funny that night, but the only way to work on that material, and it's like clearly there's a seed of an idea there. It may not be funny the first time you try it. So sometimes if it's a fucked topic, you might end up I've done it before. I've just gone on stage and I've just said something fucked and it wasn't a joke yet, but I thought like, oh, this is something in here. Then the 4th time I've tried it, I've worked on it more. It is a joke and it's funny, but I've said fuck stuff before on stage where there's no punchline and it's just like, okay, that was, you know, and you just kind of have to be like, my bad, like that wasn't funny, and that's fine. So it's like, I hate that when people go like, oh, you can't say that. It's like, well, he wasn't going out there. I wasn't going out there to piss people off. My intention was to make people laugh. I just was bad at my job in that particular circumstance.
And like, what do you do when someone kicks their toe?
Oh, I've had one lady come up to me, as in when someone cracks the shits at you.
No, but like when it's the thing to do, like it's like a natural human instinct. If something
as
kind
in
of
when you're
up,
bombing, or when someone comes up to you afterwards and goes, "Don't say that."
No, like let's just say you kick your toe, like your mate kicks their toe, and then you laugh at them. Yeah, that's like a fucked up thing that just happened to your mate. Yeah, and you know that if it happened to you, it would hurt like shit. Yeah, but you still laugh at it. Yeah. There's like a human instinct. Yes. There's like a way that you deal with things.
Just laugh.
Is to laugh, like. Oh. It's like, so there's a weird reflex there. So it's like, it makes sense that comedy, like stubbing your toe in comedy is like, you're talking about something that's like fucked up and it's like about a person that if it's happening to them, they probably aren't laughing at it, but everyone else is. Yeah. So it's like, it's a natural human fucking reflex just to laugh at the fucked up thing. It that is. You know would suck if it was you. That's what comedy's all about.
I agree. And there was a really cool thing that a lot of comedians were posting this week, and I don't watch a lot of her show, but I really like her. Is Ellen did this monologue on her show. People gave her shit. Like all the media and stuff gave her shit because she was hanging out with George Bush in some corporate box or whatever. And I was like, why the fuck would you hang out with a Republican? Is he a Republican? Yeah. Yeah, she's like, because she's like obviously the complete, almost polar opposite.
She's like lesbian, Democrat.
Of course. So everyone's like, why would you hang out with him? And she like just said on a show, she's like, I can enjoy someone. It's like, I don't have to agree with someone to hang out with them. And heaps of comedians were sharing it this week because it's like the whole point of like, well, I guess what every comedian's trying to do is like, you don't have to agree. Just, just because someone makes a fucked up joke, it doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Yeah.
It just means like they maybe missed that one,
Or it's funny.
Or it's just funny and you didn't find it funny.
Yeah, like...
That's what I hate is when people comment under your shit, this isn't funny. And you're like, oh yeah, because watch the video. There's 500 people laughing in the theater, dickhead.
In the audience.
Yeah, this isn't funny. It's like, no, you didn't find it funny.
Yeah.
This is funny. Just not to you.
Well, that's fine. The Andrew Schultz thing, like on his little podcast tour, he was talking about like the global warming thing, and then like the animals dying, and then he's like, I don't need these animals, and it's like, it's funny. I don't agree with that in any sense.
Yeah, I saw that on Logan Paul's podcast.
Yeah, so he did it on Logan Paul's, and then he did it on Bert Kreischer's.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about, the bits.
Yeah.
But it was like.
And I just want to say to people, you won't hear any of these thoughts in any other podcast.
Yeah, we're just roasting him right now.
This is original thoughts. No, I love Andrew. He was sick.
Yeah, I actually wish I didn't miss the boat on it.
So I was saying top 3 shows before. It was Theo. I've already mentioned.
He is funny.
Theo was great. Andrew Schultz was easily top 3, and Jim Jeffries. Top 3 stand-up shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I've only seen
Andrew
Theo.
was next level.
Really?
Like, yeah, so good. Like, it was better than most specials I've watched recently on Netflix.
And just his set.
Just like the material was great, and not only obviously everyone knows him for the crowdwork stuff because that's all he uploads, but his material is unbelievable.
Yeah, well that
it made me just want to throw out everything and like rewrite all my shit. It was like, when you see something better than whatever you're doing and you're like, okay, I need to step up, and I opened for him.
In
really?
Melbourne.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's cool.
And I had a great set. And I thought I did, but I was like, fuck yeah, just killed
it.
And then he came in and I was like, I'm going to get rid of that shit. But that's the thing, because like, it's so weird when you...
Yeah, can you just sign my death certificate, Schultz?
Yeah, you kill a room and then you're like, oh my God, I was getting applause breaks. Had a great set. And then he went up and I was like, oh, okay. That's how you kill a room. But that's me being like, I'm only 4.5 years in, and he's 15 or something.
So it's like the levels.
That's the difference. It's just he might be 10 years in, maybe actually Andrew. So it's like, hopefully in 5 years that would be awesome. It's kind of like Dusty. He's clearly been doing it a while. Yeah. And I hope when I get to that level, I can go on. It's hard to follow me.
Well, the craziest thing with him, and I wonder if this is like something you've done or like if this is like a comedian, like a I don't know, a training fucking thing or sparring, perfecting your craft. But like his whole thing is he was hosting, but he didn't do a set at all. Yeah. So then it was just crowd work the entire time.
Run a room, and because like the same people would come back every time.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to do jokes anymore. I'm just going to get up there and to do the same thing. And I got heaps better doing that. I do that on my tours. I reckon I do like an hour, 20 minutes every show on my tour. And except for the comedy festival, because there's a certain time you have to be out of the room. But like when I go like to Albury or to Brisbane or whatever, I'm doing like hour 20, hour 30 each night, and I've only got 45, 50 minutes of jokes.
And so are you just find it like if you find a topic, and then if people are laughing at it, you kind of just keep exploring it?
Talk to people in the crowd, and like some comedians like Lewis definitely is the type of person who will like, oh, what's happening in the news? I'm gonna write a little kind of monologue-y stand-up bit about that. Like he talked about the climate change rally, and he's like, if I write a bit about a topical bit, then I can put that up on YouTube. That'll go well. My thing is like, hey man, explain why you wearing that hat, and that's kind of like
where it starts,
where the comedy starts for my like where that back and forth starts is like. Or I have a couple of questions. Like in my show this year, I had a bit, and it's in my special as well. I have this bit where I'm like, I tell a crazy party story, but I always like to open up to everyone where I'm like, what's the craziest party story you've ever told? And usually you get some bangers, and people tell a story, and you just like, ask funny questions and like then build on it, and then 10 minutes later you're like, halfway deep in some monologue about what about if I was in Amsterdam and had $3,000 of cocaine up my ass, or whatever. Like there was some fucking crazy stories on my tour.
That's fucking awesome, mate. And so you...
By the way, that wasn't one of the stories. $3,000.
Would be a crazy party story.
Would be a crazy big asshole. Because I don't know how much cocaine is.
I don't know. It's been like $300 a bag, so like 10 bags of cocaine.
Yeah, I've never done a drug in my life.
Really?
Never even smoked weed.
Fuck, why not?
Just no interest.
Yeah, fair.
I drink. That's about it.
Was there any reason that like... Because I feel like there would be...
I don't like the idea of smoking something.
Really?
So, yeah. No.
Okay.
I just like, even like smoking cigarettes, I'm like, I don't know. I used to be like a state runner and I was like, oh yeah. No, I like running and I like being fit and I'm like, oh, what about if my lungs were black? Then I couldn't run. So that's what I think about.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in smoking or putting anything in my body that's that harmful.
Yeah,
but drinking's a good time. So.
But fuck my liver.
But in saying
but
that,
they think that they say your liver's a pretty tough one. So
I mean, it'll be fucked soon. It went pretty hard last night at the wedding. Nah,
I got one kidney, so I don't drink.
Oh right.
Yeah, so drugs is pretty much that's all I got. If I want to do anything else,
interesting,
other than just be normal.
Yep.
You have to go somewhere different.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I didn't for a long time. I was like, fuck. I went to my how old are you?
23.
Yeah, so I was probably 24 first time I did any drugs.
Next
year's the year, bro.
It's going to be a slippery slope. I honestly don't think I ever will.
Really?
It's just because it's a thing where, especially in the industry that I'm in, it's so
prevalent
around. Yeah, it's just everywhere. Like I could stick around after a gig on a Thursday and as I was like, and then I don't drink at gigs either because I'm just like, it's my job. I'm like, I'm at work.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't associate the two things. I never have don't really ever have beers backstage before a show or anything. Mainly because I just need to pee. I'm like,
you got to piss a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to stop my show and have to piss. So.
Last night I was filming and then I left and all the boys went out after and I was driving home and I was like, I half wanted to train this morning. Yeah. So I was like, I want to train. But then I was like doing the math. I was like, here by 12:30, studio is a fucking mess because we had 4 people on last time.
Right.
Had to do all shit I was like, it's just not going to happen. But I was like, man, I just feel like super productive.
Yeah.
And at this stage of like my life and career, I'm like, I have to fucking work.
I think that's what I felt like since the start.
Yeah.
As soon as I realized, because like I realized like that I have no.
Well, you've done comedy
B.
for like since you were young.
No.
Really?
I started when I was 2015, June 2015.
So how old are you?
I would have been 18 and a half.
So like your
19,
entire
maybe.
adult life, you've been doing comedy basically.
Yeah, but I had never seen it live before March 2015 and I started in June.
Yeah.
I went to watch a show at the Comedy Festival and I was like,
that's so crazy.
Yeah, I watched Nick Cody's show and it was sick. And I was like, oh man, this looks easy. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's not that easy.
Well, it's super hard.
Yeah, I had that asshole thought sitting in the crowd. I'm like, I'm hilarious. My friends like me. I could do this.
Do you know anybody that you should be a comedian in your like group and you're just like, dude, you're fucking blowing it?
Hey man, Callum, if you're listening, do it.
I got one of those guys
one of my
too.
best mates and he's so funny. He's the funniest person I know. Like when we go on nights out together, I don't even try. I can't keep up. Like I'm pretty quick. You know, I'm fucking on it usually. I'm on. But he is like just such a fun guy to be around. I already know what his stage persona will be like. He does do drama. He does musicals. He can sing. He's
so what the fuck is he doing?
Well, I think he just wants to actually do something that involves being talented, like musicals. So like,
yeah, fair.
I feel like a comedian is a last resort for people who are actually into performance. I just want to be funny and do dick jokes, but I feel like I feel like a lot of people maybe in performing it as a whole probably look down on comedians.
I think that's changing though because of the podcast thing.
Comedy's totally becoming cool.
It's gnarly, dude. And I could see it. Like I could watch the whole thing.
It's cool to like comedians now. Like it's actually cool to be like a fan of a comic. Yeah. Where usually it was like, oh yeah, I like it. Dave Hughes. I've seen him on the TV. We should go. It'll be a good night out. We'll have a laugh. Now it's like fuck yeah. Like like Theo Von's coming to Australia. We're definitely going. You round up all your mates.
You're DMing him. You're tagging him in stories. You're fucking the whole thing.
Like when I go on tour, like people are like, fuck yeah, he's coming to my place, and even though I'm only doing smaller venues, like 200, 300 seaters, the level of passion and excitement for those 300 people is exactly the same as like what I was when I was going to see Theo. I was like so keen.
I think that's happening in general. Like if you look at just a trend of media now, it's like, what do? We follow people. Literally since Instagram started, and then there was a follow button.
Everyone just Twitter, follows each other.
Yeah. And it becomes like this little community. And it's like, even with me, like I don't have TV at my house. I just have YouTube.
Of course.
And
I
it's
don't
like,
watch TV either.
I've got my subscriptions. That's the people I choose to follow. And that's like the world now.
So like, that's the way it's going to be, is like everyone's just going to, all the social media is going to turn into, and it already kind of has, is all everyone does is follow each other's stories. Like everyone's making their own content. Think about it. Your best friends are posting content from weddings and nights out and stuff. So everyone's posting their own content. We're just heightened versions of that.
Yes.
So we're like the people have kind of made it out of just our inner circle. And there's other people following us. So we're just heightened versions of that. We're still doing the same thing. I still follow people.
Yep.
You still follow people. Where there's just some people that, I guess, and also we put in a lot more time to be followed.
Yeah.
Like we put out more content than your average guy who's just like, oh, bloody on the lake again with the boys.
Yeah.
Like we...
Meow. Yeah. Like cat's doing some weird shit again.
Yeah, like people just posting their fucking lunch on Instagram. Like we try harder than that.
Hashtag Fitspo.
Yeah. So like all it is really like, you know, no one would follow me if I was just posting pictures of my breakfast, but I go out every day to make content that is better than my pancakes. You know? And sometimes I don't get it. You know, pancakes are great and it's hard to top. So you've just got to keep trying until you eventually get a viral one that people view as like, this is good. This is better than my
I'm going to now follow
friend's
him.
Instagram. Yeah. Because it takes a lot more to follow a complete stranger. You got to really like that. You got to be into what that stranger's posting. I'm much more inclined to follow someone I know than like some random comedian who I've never heard of.
And see, that's the thing that I think has like interests me, is just like what makes people do this shit. Like how does it work?
I like being part of podcast communities. I like being part of a thing. I just like being a fan of stuff. Well, I like entertainment.
Yeah.
It's like people want to be entertained, and TV is no longer an option for people my age or younger.
Yeah.
And even a lot of people older are moving away from it. My parents, you know, instead of watching it live now, like they're still a little bit behind, but now they watch like the on-demand
shit.
shows that they like on TV. So even they've moved on from really watching shit live. They kind of like go on iView or like watch their dad watches all these footy shows, but when he wants to. Yeah. So the world's definitely moved on, and it's cool. But what were you saying before about I realized we never finished discussing that. You wanted to know something about like the Australian comedy.
Yeah. I think I was just getting at, like, to me it's just super interesting how it sort of it works, and it seems like it's obvious everything's behind America, really. Like we're not really too much more ahead of America, but to me it's just like cool to sort of watch the scene and like try and...
It depends which scene you're talking about though, because the scene...
Because I feel like there's an underground scene and then there's like the mainstream TV scene, right?
So like who would you consider like mainstream comedians?
Dave Hughes,
like the ones who are on breakfast radio,
and like that dude on The Project, or you know,
Tommy Little,
those kind of... I would see them, but like I'm not interested in that world.
Okay,
like to me I don't find that super interesting. I like you guys, Isaac Butterfield, like guys like Dusty. To me it's so interesting because what you guys are to me, you guys are the Theo Vons, the Brian Callens, the Crystal, like, but you're not that big yet. So. You're not that big yet. So, but you will be.
I think so, because like you think about it, like they're like what, 40? Yeah. They're like 35 minimum. Like I don't know how old Theo is, probably like 35.
Yeah, he'd be in his mid 30s, I think.
So it's like I've still got 12 years till I'm that age. So it's like I hope in the next 12 years I am that to a lot of people. You know, I
for sure think you guys will be. And on like a big, like on a way bigger stage than, like as big as what those guys are, you know? Like,
so Verve is the company that is
that's Josh Wade's
Josh Wade and Sam run Verve, and they've got Lewis Spears, the Fairbairn Boys, Isaac Butterfield, Frenchie, Neil Kolhatkar now, and I think it's public. He's touring with them. Okay, cool. I didn't know I was supposed to. No, he's touring with them. So and then obviously, which means they have Luke and Lewis, the podcast. We're doing live shows at the end of the year as well.
Oh, I did see that.
So like, there's just a whole lot of branches from this one, and it's great because we're all great friends with each other.
Yes,
every year
which
during
is
the comedy
same
festival.
As those guys.
Yeah, and like. you know what the odd part is though, that a lot of comedians who are pushing for the mainstream side and want the radio gig, and I've experienced both. I've been fortunate enough to see both sides of it, and I picked a team at the end, and it wasn't the mainstream side. I wanted to do the internet route. I saw a more success on that side
long term.
I feel like maybe 90% of the people in Australia are still trying to get this radio gig, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to be on the project? It's like, what? So my mum knows who you are?
Yeah.
She's not coming to your fucking show.
Yeah.
At all. She's like, oh, that nice boy on the TV. Oh, I forgot his name anyway. He was great. That's
He's Lynn's son.
Yes. That's the kind of people who are watching that shit now. So it's like...
And it's so fucking watered down, and it's so scripted, and it's just like...
But by the way, I think Tommy is a great comedian.
I'm sure they're all funny as fuck, but they're not saying what they actually want to say.
Tommy on stage, he's killer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So like all those people are killer on stage, but
they're not saying what
I just don't know why they're pushing. Like, there's a lot of people up and coming my age who look down upon what we're all doing. The people you just mentioned.
I feel like you want to be in that group. You want to be in the look down group.
Yes.
At the start.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
That's the fucking move. Like that's where the real shit is. And it's like because nowadays I think like counterculture is culture.
Yeah, people think like we've skipped a queue, I think. Because like I've thought about it, like I don't know, not that I'm saying arrogant or whatever. It's probably only 10% of, I'm probably in the top 10% of comedians in Australia as far as like numbers to shows. Like not saying ability wise, because I'm only 4.5 years in or whatever, but like I'd like to think that touring wise, presence and fan base, probably like how many comedians can put on a show in Albury and sell over 100 tickets?
Yeah, that's super
not
cool.
many.
Yeah,
like, you know, I can go to Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast and Brisbane on a weekend, fill each show, and that's because of the internet. Like, so I think that not many comedians even on TV could do that. I don't think so, unless they'll put it at a venue with right promotion. They pay shitloads for marketing. I just post about it on Facebook,
and I think that it's because there's like a real investment into like the community that's behind it, because obviously, you know, you answered my fucking DM, so it's like you're obviously looking and you're engaging and you're like you're cultivating your own.
I reply to like on the, you know, the bus on the way here, I spent 30 minutes replying to people's DMs. I was like, if I've got downtime, you know, every day I get, because people can reply to stories now. Probably get like 100 messages a day. Yeah. And I do my best to at least read them all and then reply to the ones that aren't just fucking filth. Yeah. So, right. You know, I reply to everyone who's asking a legitimate question, or legit. And being nice or whatever. And you know, some people just say dumb shit. Like, well, what are your thoughts on water bottles? It's like, oh, whatever.
I drink out of them.
Yep.
Handy.
Some people just ask you the weirdest stuff. Like, hey, man, what are your thoughts on literally like that? They'll be like, oh man, what are your thoughts on this? It's like, why do you care what my thoughts are on fucking cabbage, dude?
Or they're just whatever. Well, they're probably expecting a bit.
I think they're expecting me to be funny, and I'm just like, hey man, not replying to that.
Not in this sense, bro.
No.
But yeah, I do. I love that shit. Like, I see it. I see it happening, and I don't. I mean, I know all you guys see it happening, but to me, I'm like, fuck, I've watched this already. Like, I watched this in America. I watched this same dance.
I mean, population-wise, they've got 10 times the amount of people as us, yeah?
10?
Or 20 times.
Actually.
10. We have 24 million, 15, they have 200 million, don't they? Do they have 200 million?
No, 300 million.
Oh.
330 or something crazy.
Okay, so it's like...
A lot. 11 times.
Yeah, 11 times,
15, 14. Anyway.
So, a lot more people.
You do the math.
So, say you times my Instagram following by 10.
Yeah.
I'd be at 600k.
Yeah.
So you look at those guys in America who are at 500k, have big careers. Not saying it'd be the same.
True.
But
very true.
I'm just saying, like, you got to do a little bit of ratio wise. Like, most of my followers are from Australia.
Yeah.
It's harder to hit an American market, because I've actually looked at how social media works, and the way it works is geographically. So you think about it. So when I started, I was just posting videos to my friends.
Yeah.
Then they would be like, oh, I like it. So it'll come up on their friends' feed. So then I was kind of like a guy who did videos at my high school, in my local area.
Yeah.
Then I moved out to Melbourne. You know, all of a sudden someone from likes a video, pops up, their cousin in Perth sees it, boom, now I'm on news feeds and people in Perth.
Yeah.
So it actually, social media actually works kind of geographically.
Yeah.
And there's even stuff where YouTube isn't actually has said, oh, we don't recommend Australians videos as much to people in America.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to see that. So if you're in Australia posting some Australian YouTubers post with a VPN from America, so it's recommended to Americans. Yeah, that's the thing.
I need to do that.
Maybe.
Well, we do these Supercross shows like with the racing over there, and like they do pretty well. Yeah. But like iTunes just kills for me so much harder than any other platform. Like YouTube's just like dead essentially. Like there's 7,000 people that subscribers.
I have a YouTube following, so like Lewis and I have more subscribers than we have like 8K on our podcast, but Lewis has like 300,000 on YouTube. I've got like 80K. I'm like, I got really big on Facebook when Facebook was popping back in the day.
Well, before the algorithm.
Yeah, before the algorithm. So I got huge. I have like 300,000 on Facebook, but then now that's just dead in the water. It's like
pointless.
So it's literally like a waste of time that I spent getting big on Facebook, which is annoying. So now I'm just like Instagram's kind of like Instagram and YouTube where I'm trying to
that's sort of for me too.
Push everything towards. So like, yeah, like I don't know. It doesn't. You just gotta incorporate. I think it's do you mention on your podcast that you can watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like probably not enough.
Yeah, maybe you just gotta pull people over, and you gotta make people follow you on every platform.
Yeah.
And then so they're not missing anything. Check out the clips on Instagram, blah blah. And even if you actually realize how many eyeballs are getting across your shit, even though people might not even listen to a full episode, we have a clips channel on our podcast, and some people just watch the highlights and they feel like, if someone asks them, oh, do you listen to Luke and Lewis? They'd be like, yeah, because they just kind of know what's vaguely happening.
Yeah.
They might not even listen to every episode.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just a thing where you've just got to, it's a game, and you've got to just put out as much shit as possible. Yeah. So then this many eyeballs are going to see it.
Well, that's the thing that's crazy is like, I'll
hear it.
I'll have weeks where I'll just go ham because I don't have a bunch of other shit going on, or I wasn't building a fucking studio.
Heaps of clips and
so
stuff.
I'll just pump it out, and then it's like engagement, everything, like it goes crazy. And then it's like, then you go back to normal life where you're not a fucking slave to your phone. Yeah. And then it's like, and you're like, fuck this thing. Yeah. Like literally Instagram and YouTube. They're just like, sit at your desk, bro. You want people to look at this? Yeah. Be at your desk. Don't have a life. Don't fucking have anything else to talk about on your podcast. Just edit your fucking videos. Yep. And then there's just like a weird thing of like, I just get sick of fucking looking at myself and hearing myself, and like I don't want to post anything. I'm like, I'm over me.
After like I had a big week last week where I was just posting about my special because it dropped last week, so I was like bang. I was posting every day, and then I like realized I was like, oh shit, I haven't posted on Instagram 2 days. And usually a normal person will be like, so what? I got a life. I don't need to post on Instagram. I'm like, oh fuck, if I don't post, I lose money. Yeah. If I don't work, and if I go out every night and have fun and drink and stuff and go out to dinner, I'm losing money.
Yeah. Like, it's fucking crazy, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been like I think it's just weird when the content is you. Like that's what I find. Strange. That's what I find weird. Business. Yeah. I just find it weird to sit and look at myself and hear myself, and that's the thing that I just don't like.
I'm fucking pretty. I'm so lucky. Aren't I just privileged in that sense?
I'm so fucking hot.
I'm blessed with looks. I'm not, by the way, for people listening, I'm not that hot. That was kind of the bit. I'm like such a soft 7. Like
I'm easy.
And if I like dressed a little bit shitter as well, I'd probably be like a low 6.
Yeah, at least you've got a haircut.
I mean, it is. I was wearing a cap all day, and I can see myself on the monitor. It's looking a little bit off, but that's okay.
I think you look fine.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
We're bigger on iTunes.
Yeah.
just remember, we're bigger on iTunes. No one sees this.
Yeah. I don't know if I like my voice.
Really?
Yeah. I listened to it back, and I'm like, is that how I sound? And then, you know what? I got headphones on. I can hear it. Not good.
I'm not that, like, bummed on my voice. That's not the one.
I think it's a little high pitched. I think I'd like it. This is how I think I like to hear myself. Yeah, so actually that's boring.
Yours hits like a bit of a Kermit octave at time. Like you said, that high, it gets a bit.
Hey guy, how does he talk?
I don't know. Let's fucking figure that out real quick.
Yeah,
but it's like got that tiny little pitch when it goes up a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being a cunt right now by saying that.
No, strong Kermit vibes. Bring it up.
I don't know how to spell either.
Dude, if I was green, I kind of look like him too. You know, I look like a human puppet.
Oh, fuck these.
I look like a default video game character, actually. There's just popped up as an ad then on YouTube of a video game, and I look like those three guys.
Is this actually going to...
I told you we should have had a gameplay to
I mean, it's not real. This is budget Kermit, but...
Where's real Kermit?
Hello. No, I don't know. I get what you mean, though.
It just hits like that little high point, you know?
Yeah.
But that was a weird little... That's a weird little clip. You know what's crazy is well, the whole YouTube thing's like another story, but like the people making the most money on YouTube are those people making like kid toy reviews and stuff.
You know, there's like...
Have you heard about that shit?
The 8-year-old kids who have the channels?
Yeah, crazy,
Yeah.
man.
So my girlfriend's nephew, he's at 4. He just sits there and like you hear, and I'm like, what are you watching, man? And he's like watching some 7-year-old review a toy. And I was like, oh my God, so the guy's watching. I'm like, he's 7, this little kid. His parents are like, do this, review this fucking toy.
It's bizarre.
To pay off our mortgage. And then hopefully they're putting some of the money away for the poor kid.
Yeah, because I think there's like...
I guess it's like child acting. It's the new equivalent.
Yeah, there's
like
been
Macaulay
some...
Culkin.
Let's just type in toy review and see.
Do you reckon that kid's going to become like Lindsay Lohan and just get fully Herbie loaded on other shit like she did?
Would have to.
Like this kid's going to be like... He's going to get so much fame reviewing toys that he's just going to be like hella on the bags. He's gonna like, this kid's gonna be like an animal. He's just got fame too early.
He was the fucking toy kid, man. Remember the toy kid? No, like that's what people are gonna say. Like, that's the fucking toy kid.
I wonder if he gets recognized at preschool. He's like the coolest kid in kindergarten.
He goes to an all boys kindergarten and then they have to go to an all girls one and he's just like the fucking getting off the bus like the Beatles.
Yeah. For sure. What's his name?
Oh, I have no idea.
Scroll down. What's his
Twin telepathy.
Ryan Mania.
That's 22 million motherfucking subscribers, bro.
And he's like 7. I'm so jealous. You know, this is 2 grown men wishing they had his life. If you said to me, quit comedy today, and you get 22 million subscribers to review fucking Lego,
and you got to make jelly.
I'd be like, bro, buy me Duplo. I don't give a fuck. I'd be like,
I'll do connects if I have to. Bring on that Meccano set and let's go to level fucking 3000.
Yeah, I'll be like, Hot Wheels, beat that.
Dude, look at this kid's stage present. He don't give a fuck.
He's got no charisma. Can we watch this with sound?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He looks nervous. He's just being forced. He looks like he's at gunpoint. Like, his parents are like...
The mum looks weird. Like, she looks like the kind of mum that would do this.
She looks like the kind of mum that would force her son into reviewing toys for her own profit.
You know what?
Which is exactly what's happening.
She looks like the Angry Boys mum with the skateboard kid. She's the Asian Angry
I don't know
Boys
what's
mum.
more racist, your comment or Chris Lilly's character. Both.
It's just comedy, bro. We can say it. She's the Asian version of... No, that chick was Asian too. The skateboard mum was Asian.
Yeah, but it was Chris Lilly playing an Asian.
Yeah, he was doing Asian face.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I don't know. I don't know about Chris Lilly anymore. I didn't like the new one.
I haven't watched it.
There's no, I don't know. I was a fan of like back in the day, some Hot Tie and stuff.
Yeah, some of Hot Tie was fucking amazing. I watched Angry Boys too. The one that gets me is the fucking nod your head if you don't want to go to deaf school. I still do that. Anytime anyone says anything about being deaf, I'm like, nod your fucking head if you don't want to go to deaf school.
You were like one of the people who were like writing dictation on like walls and shit, weren't you?
Yeah, I was like drawing on every fucking.
What's the new one?
Desk.
Dope as fuck. Oh, the new series.
I haven't watched that one. So this one has 37 million reviews.
Elephant, toothpaste, science experiments, Halloween. That's words that don't make sense together.
You know what that is though? That's that whole YouTube algorithm beta right there.
Yes.
That's exactly what they've done.
That title is literally just like they've put words into a random generator. Like, oh, what are kids like? Elephants, toothpaste, science, and experiments, and Halloween.
That's the Post Malone of YouTube names.
Yeah.
Because he got that from a rap generator.
He does. I've heard that. So what are they doing? They're just reviewing.
So this has, for just the listeners, this has 37 million views, and it's an Asian kid with his Asian supervisor, because I'm not exactly sure
I'm not sure what gender that person is.
To say that properly. And it has 37 million views, and we still don't really know.
But I love that it has like a pretty hectic dislike ratio. So it has 130,000 likes, but 52,000 dislikes, which means there's a bunch of people that have just been like, "Fuck this 7-year-old."
But I wonder.
Imagine like being like
other 7-year-olds.
Yeah, other 7-year-olds being like, "Huh, I know, I could."
I could
what
do
do they
this
think?
slime better.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
It's like, it's called Nickelodeon, bitch. You think you know slime?
Haters made me famous, bro.
It's true.
What do they do? Look at the gift. So like, look at that. So like, from a production standpoint,
it's like stand in front of a green
screen. I know what
Yeah.
they've done. Like, they've dressed that poor kid up, and then they've put him on a fucking green screen. Oh, here we go. Wow, that's pretty intense, though.
Yeah, but 37 million people have watched this, and now you're bringing this to
Way more
people there. So it's like we're giving Ryan's toy reviews way more promo than it deserves. But I get why kids like this, because this is just like the shit I used to watch, but I used to watch it on ABC Kids.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, guys,
Fuck
today
yeah, Ranger
we're going to
Stacey.
be making a hat. And this is actually heaps cooler than that. I used to watch people in play school being like, "Oh, what's the time, Mr. Wolf?" And they're shooting out fucking elephant toothpaste out of a skull. Like, that's heaps cooler to watch. It's not a skull, it's a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's a pumpkin skull.
Yes, it's a pumpkin skull.
You have a very, very valid point. Were you ever watching like High Five and the Wiggles at a young age and like seeing through it?
No, I was
Or
probably
did you
on
purely
board.
entertainment?
I was in front of the TV, like, you know what I used to get sucked into? Do you remember the Bear in the Big Blue House?
Sort of.
Are you too old for that?
Probably
How
a
old are you?
tiny bit too old. 31.
Yeah, you probably maybe just missed that. So it used to be this one, his bear, he's like, he used to come in every day and just sniff you, and he'd sniff the camera and be like, "What do you smell like today?" And he'd be like, "Have you been drinking?" He would talk to the viewer, "Have you been drinking apple juice?" And I used to sit there and be like, "Fucking no way." I did have that. I mean, it wasn't today, it was yesterday, so maybe I still smell like it. And my 5-year-old brain was just like, he gets me. But like, looking back on it now, it's like, it was one of three. It was orange, apple, or, apricot. Or something. It was like, dude, there's only three.
Not a lot of juices. Or cordial.
Yeah, he could, and some days he'd be like, "Have you been? Did you just brush your teeth?" And I was like, how does he? Is anyone else seeing this?
Every time.
I'd be like, "Mom, Dad, I think he was watching me." Yeah, I did not used to see through that shit. Yeah, so look up like intro. So he sings the goodbye song at the end. Just look up.
Yeah,
intro.
I do remember it because I've got younger siblings, so I feel like I was across stuff a little bit later than most.
Oh no, this is gonna be the theme song. Look up "Smell." It's like a thing. He did it every episode. He'd welcome you into the blue house. He'd open the door and then be like, "What do you smell like today?"
Oh
yeah, that one. See the second one.
The second one?
Yeah. He's going to be like, "What have you guys been?"
Ooh. Oh, here we go. I'm fucking this up. Mick, I need you.
Today.
He's like, "Here we go."
What's that smell? It smells like
5-year-old me would be like, "What? Honey."
This is amazing.
it's you. Ooh, tell me, did you just have toast with honey on it?
And that's all I had every day. So I'd be like, "You fucking this guy." I'd be like, "This guy gets me."
So he was your first spirit animal.
Yeah, dude. He's still my spirit animal.
I just wish,
Someone's edited that.
the only thing that could make that better is that Snoop Dogg fucking gin and juice meme.
Which one's that?
Where like the glasses come down and like the joint comes out. Yeah. That'd be amazing. Fuck, what was I going to say about that? Oh, I always thought that guy, his voice didn't match the suit though.
This guy?
Yeah, that was one of the ones where, because like, obviously I was at the age where I knew it was a man in a suit.
When you're a kid, you don't even think about that. Like, when I first watched Finding Nemo, I didn't know who Alan was. I was like, "That's Dory."
Yeah,
and then you
true.
watch it now. I watched it like, you know,
You
a
can't
few months
unhear
back.
it.
I just walked past TV and I was just like, "Why is Alan a fish?" And it's you can't unhear it because I know Alan better than I know Dory. You know, I've seen her show more than I've watched Dory forget shit. So,
oh, that's fucking funny.
you're right. But as a kid, you're just like, you don't even really think like that's a guy in a suit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, you clearly did.
I was always that guy. Like, I never could enjoy that shit because I always like it was weird.
Were you like autistic when you were 4?
I feel like I could have been.
Like you're just sitting there seeing through like what is an obvious thing. But as a 4, like I think I'm an open guy. You know, I was just open to new shit.
I was super closed-minded to
Yeah.
new shit. I was like, dude, I need to watch Scarface again or nothing. Like, just can't be.
Oh, so did you watch fucked up movies
I
too
watched like
young?
old shit, yeah.
Okay, that's your parents ruined your imagination.
Yeah, but I just like, I remember like
That's
watching
so
the
brutal to tell someone. It's
No,
like, hey,
it's
man,
real. It's real.
you're scarred.
I gravitated towards it so heavily.
See, I wasn't allowed to watch crazy shit. So when this is all you watch, I'm
Yeah.
just like, to me, I'm like, that's a bear.
You know what I
That's
think
what
it
bears
was?
look like.
I think it was my dad just like not wanting it on in the house.
So he was just
Like he was just one of those guys that was like, I get this is what kids should watch. I'm just not gonna deal with
So
this
he
for
was
6
like,
years.
he was like, you could watch, you know, Arthur and Play School, but then he was also like, hey mate, say hello to my little friend, and then you were just like, oh hello.
This is a lot better.
Yeah, it's like a guy with a gun doing heaps of coke, and you're just like, this is better than like I don't know, Brum.
At least this guy's not in a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would, yeah, I remember always like I'd watch the Wiggles and I'd just be like, I just feel like they don't want to be there. Like I never could believe the Wiggles.
I believe that Anthony wanted to be there, and he's the guy that's still doing it. And now I believe it. I'm like, he never left. Like Murray was like, "Fuckers, I'm out. I've made my cash."
And which was the one that slept? Jeff. He's just like, here's the thing, I'm gonna do your Wiggles, but my character is to sleep through this shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna sleep through our career.
I like to imagine that one day they'll like wake up Jeff and he was just like 5 more minutes, you fucks. He was just like, and they had to cut it, but he's just like, every fucking time. Like he just cracked the shits. He like kicked Dorothy and everyone's like, oh my God. It's like Wags tries to spear tackle him and he starts fucking, I'll be sick, dude. Just like watching the cast just, because it's kind of like those shows where like, you know, they hate each other because they hang out all day.
Yeah.
And imagine you'd hate anyone. If you had to do this with someone all day, I'd be like, mashed potato, I fucking hate you, fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I'd just be so angry at all of them. Like,
that's so fucking funny.
Dude,
Cut, and then they all just turn around and just fucking cigarettes. Fucking.
they're like, you're not mashing them properly. Like they'd just be so mad at each other.
I can see that being real.
Yeah, or like one of them just like, you know, one of them's really sad, but he's not speaking up, and he's just like, fuck it, and he's in the big red car, and one day he's like,
one more time, and I'm pulling this big red car over, and you can fucking walk.
if I have to sing about fruit salad one more time, I'm driving this big red car off the cliff.
And in breaking news, all 5 Wiggles members were killed this morning.
Yeah.
Driving the big red car.
There's like CC security cam of them just going off a cliff. Wild. Well, that's going to get me cancelled. So Australian comedian disses the Wiggles.
Rips on National Treasure.
Yes.
Because they were fucking famous everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Like, my buddy, I didn't realize this, but he was one of the Red Bull managers, and I went to his house, and his kid was watching the Wiggles, and I fucking flipped. I was like, you have this here? Like, I just thought it was like a Australian thing that like nobody, they were fucking
Was High
massive.
Five big? No, it's just the Wiggles.
My sister and brother would watch High Five.
Yeah.
And I used to always think they were fucking.
You know how we're talking about counterculture?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Hooly Doolies? They were like the C grade.
Okay.
Look up them.
Yeah.
So there was
I remember
there was
that.
High Five, like the B grade Wiggles. High Five, I would say, was for maybe a little bit of an older demographic.
The Hooly Doolies.
The Hooly Doolies were like this, just Australians would know them. If you're American, you're like, what is this? And they used to have a song, we are the Hooly Doolies, and how do you do? Look up, go the Hooly Doolies theme song. The second one.
This episode's for sure getting kicked off YouTube, but that's fine. We'll figure it out.
Oh, what, the Hooly Doolies are going to copyright strike? Yeah, I think you're fine.
Nah, you know what? We get demonetized basically every video.
Yes,
so.
Because I just made a joke about the
Wiggles
dying off a cliff.
Flamey red car.
And that's
accident.
my bad.
I'm going to tap into your Patreon this week.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like a sad rip-off.
Yeah.
Wait, you know how
I used to watch this shit.
You know how you were saying that, like, as a comedian, you went on and then, like, you killed, and then Schultz come on and then he killed. This is like what they felt when they opened for the Wiggles.
I'm the Hooly Doolies of comedians. Like, I'm only known in Australia, and you kind of look at it and you're like, I guess.
I sort of see what you were doing, but we kind of already have the Wiggles.
Yeah. It's like, these guys need another 5 years to just work on their craft.
That's fucking so funny, dude.
Tickles. Oh, that wouldn't even be allowed these days. You couldn't, if you were pitching like a show, like, oh, this one's called Tickles. You're like, what did he do? He touches the kids.
We're gonna tickle all the kids on set. We're gonna run out into the crowd. Dude, that's fucking bizarre. You know, the one that I used to love was Round the Twist.
Yeah.
That was cool as fuck. That was weird.
I think that was Australian, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was just like, I was into like, you're right. Oh, I've always been into what you said before, like the ones that weren't, so that was a mainstream show, Round the Twist.
Yeah.
Do you remember that show, The Shack? With Nitro? I used to be into like weird, and I look back on it now and I talk about it with my friends, like they like Dragon Ball Z. I've never seen a full episode.
I used to like that shit.
I've never seen a full episode of The Simpsons. I'm weird.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, okay.
And like I'm just into like weird shit, and I was like, oh, do you guys like that show Arthur? And they were like, yeah, I mean, I guess, but I was like, no, I've watched every episode, and they're like, oh, what about The Simpsons? So I was like, nah, like I know who Bart is.
I used to like Arthur.
It's a great show, but
that was a good one.
I feel like I just spent my childhood outdoors.
Yeah, we just didn't watch that much TV.
I don't watch that much TV.
Yeah, we were
probably wasn't allowed.
We were BMX kids. So it's like literally all we like, because we grew up at pretty much like on a farm in like Cairns.
Right.
So like we were just outdoors. We were either fishing or we were just like those little fucking bogan cunts running around.
I was just like, would make like a lot of cubby houses like in the backyard.
Whereabouts did you grow up? Melbourne?
Yeah, like northern suburbs of Melbourne.
Yeah, okay.
Right on the edge of like suburbia and where it becomes bush. So we had like nice parklands near our house. So just riding bikes, stuff like that.
Yeah, we were like basically obsessed with building jumps.
Yeah, I used to build a lot of jumps. We used to have paddocks next to our house, and the council used to tear down our jumps. Like we'd build
that
these
was the
sick
battle,
jumps,
wasn't it? That was the battle.
They used to come in and you'd be like, it had been flattened, or they'd try to ruin it, and we were just like, that's all right, rebuild time, you know, well, they can't stop all of us. And then and like,
like all the kids
all the neighborhood kids come out with their plastic shovels like, let's get digging, boys. Yeah, it was legit.
You blow the conch.
That was legit it.
Oh, that's so fun. But
the thing is, you were probably had the skill to do the jumps and ride them. I was more of the engineer. I was like, guys, I reckon this will work, and you try it. I didn't have the skill to pull off most of them. I had a lot of shit.
Dude, we used to I was just telling my girlfriend this because we were in Cairns the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what like our bike jumps work. Because it's like a very methy neighborhood now. And she's like, you used to go down there every day? I was like, every day. Go down there. And every day we knew we were probably going to get beat up. And every day we still went down there anyway. Because you'd get like the big kids that like smoked and drank and then fucking kicked the shit out of the little kids. But the jumps was just like such an allure. We used to just run the gauntlet every day. Get beat up like 8 out of 10 times.
So you'd risk a life of crime and meth just to do bike
BMX
jumps.
Yeah.
That's actually how most BMX people start their careers.
100%.
That's how most of it's done. That's pretty gangster.
Yeah, 100%. We used to go down there and like every day we'd like psych ourselves up because we knew we'd be around those kids, and then they'd just like, because they used to sit at like the undercover area. It was like I feel like a lot of people had very similar experiences. Yeah, you just like run the gauntlet every day just to get a few jumps in. Just because I feel like it was more of just like an adventure than you were really not going there for the jumps, you know?
Yeah.
You're doing it for the fucking overall adventure.
Dude, this like screen is bringing back some memories. Is on the YouTube recommendations it says The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh,
that
I remember
was a dope
that book.
You think of it now and you're like, that is just a book where all that happens is a caterpillar eats shit. Well, not poo, but like it eats just a bunch of stuff, and then at the end of the book, I don't know how it ends. Like, is there a twist? I don't even know. I think.
Or does he just keep eating fruit?
I think it's just a book about a caterpillar being a caterpillar.
Just doing the damn thing. This is like an audio book version of that book. God, isn't YouTube just a fucking weird little place where you can basically find anything now?
Do you want to keep going? Because I don't go to the toilet, but we can keep going. Can I just... Yeah. Are you just going to sit here and watch the
I'm going to keep watching this. This is fucking good for me. This is blowing my mind. That needs work. There's still some mods to be done on the studio.
Yeah, but it's not in shot, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the trouble though. That's what gets you.
Yeah, it just means when I come on this podcast, I just go talk shit about it to other people. Like, yeah, he's a great podcast, but his door was fucked.
Describe the flaws of the room. Like, oh, I know that you guys can't see this, but over there, mess. Over there.
It's not. No, it's great. I was joking. It's actually great. And the carpet, I'm not tripping on it. It's better than most hotels that I've stayed at.
The carpet is actually even acoustic carpet.
That's a thing?
Yeah, I didn't know it before.
As in, like... What's the difference?
So there's like a acoustic underlay.
It just seems like normal carpet to me.
Yeah, that's the fucking beauty of it though, isn't it? Yeah, that's the beauty. So yeah, there's like an acoustic underlay underneath it. So then apparently it's just like more dense so that the sound reverberation.
Right.
So where did you guys build your studio?
It's in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the suburb because people have trying to work it out.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, people. Yeah, well, our fans are quite young. Well, clearly some of them, not all of them, but yeah, some of them maybe. Yeah, we've had situations where people have worked out like where the radio station was, and you can just look up where the radio station is and have come there and stuff. It's weird, so we just don't tell anyone for that reason.
That makes
also, it's not a good area to bring people in. We're in a shithole area.
But is it just like a warehouse
district? Like, is it really industrial? Like, there's a wood shop next door, so you can't hear them through these mics. But sometimes we can just hear like drills in the background. We need to move. We're trying to save up to buy a new studio. Maybe get a couple of new sponsors, but we're still building and. It's like anything. When you start, you got to start at the bottom. And, like the fact that we've got a studio, we don't even know that many podcasts in Melbourne that have a studio. Usually just people in their lounge rooms with handheld mics. So, like, we actually, it costs us like $10,000 to build it. So, it's a cheaper set. It costs us $10,000 to build it, just over. Yeah. To get the chairs and furniture. And we have like a curtain backdrop and... We just wanted it to look completely different as well. So we've put orange curtains in the background because we just wanted it to be like unique. We're like, what's a podcast color that no other podcast has? We're like orange. And everyone was like, I think people at the start are like, this is shit. And then now it's just like always going to be a thing where Luke and Lewis, we have orange curtains in the background. Just because I think it just stands out and it's like very us.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool as fuck.
So that's when we have a guest on that. So it usually looks like that, and then
these cunts are gonna copyright strike me for sure. Yeah, that's fucking cool. I like that new.
We need our line, but that's the thing. But we have all like we just like have jokes and like half the first 20 episodes was jokes about us building the studio, like how like our curtains were wrinkly and we both couldn't be bothered to unwrinkle them, so we both started ripping each other off and started curtain rental businesses. Like Lewis bought this steamer, but he steamed his half of the curtains but not mine. Like, so half the content is actually just about growing the show, but that's so fun to be a fan of, I think, is because you feel like you're there for the journey. So like most of our content is just us talking about the show. Like it's like sometimes we'll talk about we talk about stuff that happened during our week, but then we're just like, all right, like we have a whole segment where every Tuesday we do 7 minutes of admin. And people fucking love it. Like, if we don't do the admin segment, people crack the shit. They're like, where was the admin? They're like, we don't want to do it, but it's important to get stuff done as a podcast community. Like, and we just sit there, we start a timer, and we're like, all right, first on the checklist today. And we just like go, we need to change our Spotify bio. Who's going to do that? And then like we all just argue about who's going to do it. And then nothing ever gets done. It's like the whole podcast.
That's so fucking good.
Yeah, and people just like, or like if you go. So the biggest meme is go on just go in this comment section. Doesn't matter which one it is. So we have this meme called where you sound off in the comments. Every single comment is just sounding off. So we're always like, guys, sound off in the comments below. And all the comments are just people sounding off, going like, and people, if you just comment something and don't say sounding off, other people come into the comments and just roast the shit out of you.
I kind of want to leave a comment and be like, why are you all sounding off? Just to troll.
But people will just, I've read one like that before and everyone was like, you clearly don't listen to the podcast, bro.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
So we've created like a strange community, but I feel like we
that's
really
like
want
the beauty of it, though, right?
We want to start the worry is you don't want to get too in. You don't want to get too in, because then it's new people feel like they can't be a part of it. So we always like go. We recap the joke. So like, once every 4 weeks or so, we'll be like, just sounding off. That one is an easy thing to get on. Just sound off in the comments below. And then surely if you're a new listener, you can be like, oh yeah,
that's a thing.
It's just a thing they say.
That's a thing, yeah.
But all the things that start on our show always start because we think it's shit and we hate it.
Really?
So like Lewis one time goes, sound off below, and I was like, never say that again. And then because I hated it so much the first time, everyone to piss me off was like, hey, Lewis, just sounding off, and then it just stuck. So it's like all these things, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but we did this video. Like if you go on Amy Shark's Wikipedia, right, I think we're still on there.
Oh, yes.
So we did this thing called, we did this video about Amy Shark saying hi. Now obviously people might know she's an Australian artist if you're overseas. Amy Shark is a singer and she has a song called I Said Hi, where in the song she's like, tell them all I said hi, have a nice day. And Lewis and I started this thing where we made this video where we just were going around to businesses and being like, oh yeah, Amy Shark says hi or whatever. Go down to the end of career, up a little bit. Can you like just search Luke, like Luke in the page to see if it pops up. So go up a little bit, so down.
Career, there you go.
Career,
Sorry.
at the end of career, 2018 to present. See, look. So it was voluntarily promoted by comedian and digital radio show hosts Luke and Lewis using posters, megaphone, and large homemade sign hung up next to the Fox FM Melbourne station logo. So they literally, the Wikipedia article pretty much credits us for the song's success. That was not the reason why the song was popular. It was a great song and the radio played it a lot. All those in-jokes start off, though, with us going like, we were just calling each other at 1 a.m. between ourselves. It wasn't a public joke. We'd be like, oh, Amy Shark says hi, tell your friends. And we'd hang up and be like, fuck, now. Like, so all these in-jokes just start off as dog shit in-jokes between our friendship group and then between all the people who work in our show. And then eventually I was just like, dude, we need to make a video where we just tell the whole world that Amy Shark says hi. So we made this giant sign, we hung it over a building, and we had megaphones and we were waving flags and people were honking us. Like, it was wild. So like that's kind of where most of those ideas start. It's just like the ability. I think one thing we are quite good at is getting a thing and then making it into like a revolution as opposed, like we did this thing with Reese Maston a few years ago. Do you remember him? The guy who was on X Factor. He used to be like an X Factor.
Yeah.
Did arenas for a bit. He has this song called Good Night. And Lewis once in the office, for some reason on the show, we were talking about those type of people who were like, oh, remember like those ex people who like, on those talent shows. And we started going through them all on YouTube. Got up to Reese Maston and Lewis and I were like, damn, this song's a bop. Like, why do people hate on this? This is a track. So then Lewis gets up and just starts doing this fist bumping thing. It's where you jump and you just go like that, one arm completely to one side, and you just jump awkwardly and fist bump. Yeah. And it became the official chorus dance of this song. So then once I just put up an Instagram story. It was a one-off thing. I was like, oh, this is funny. Lewis dancing to Reese Maston. Within like an hour, 3 people sent back messages of like them doing it. And I was like, okay, so I posted another one and I was like, so I kept all day filming Lewis in the office just doing this Reese Maston dance in the middle of like all the people working in sales, and Lewis is like, I'm just looking for a good night. So that's just what we were doing. And then by the end of like the week, we'd receive videos with like bus loads of kids after school doing the dance, like 50 kids in a bus, like, I'm just looking for. He became such a celebrity on our show. We eventually reached out to him. He was a great sport and he came on the show. He's now like the official best friend of the show. He's always at our live stuff. We're really good mates with him now. He's actually a really nice, he's just a legend of a dude. Yeah. But like, it's just funny how like we never mean like these things we're never like, oh, we should make this a massive
like joke writers and like this would be a good gag. No, this would be a good bit.
We just amuse ourselves and then go. Usually, if we find it funny, then other people will find it funny. So I feel like that is the kind of humor that I love doing. Like I love doing stand up and stuff, but the podcast and stuff, the way that humor usually goes is like kind of like taking an idea and then just seeing how long you can run with it for. And like, and there's not even any plan of the end.
Yeah.
Like there's no end to the joke. It's just like some of them just peter out, like that one. Some of it's like it was fun for a bit, but that joke peaked at Lewis's comedy special. We got a whole theater of people doing the dance filmed in 4K, and that footage exists somewhere. I don't think I've ever seen it. It was filmed. So there's just stuff like that. That's definitely like the most fun part, I reckon.
Yeah,
of doing comedy.
It's so like. It's so cool that with the way the podcast stuff works too, because you guys can literally do whatever the fuck you want. Like on the radio side, like, not that I've worked in radio, but I could just imagine that it's constricted in ways.
They've been great to us. I mean, our only restrictions are don't swear, and sometimes we go, we probably shouldn't talk about that on radio. That's the only. They've been pretty much giving us full creative control.
But see, even that to say like don't swear and don't talk about this stuff, it's like then you can't just be, you can't make the Wiggles joke.
No.
About the Wiggles dying in a fucking big red car crash.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's pretty funny.
Pretty funny, hopefully. I mean, some people might be mad at that. Whatever. I mean, it's not, you're right.
But that's just where your mind went.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, that's fine. To me, there's no harm in that. But it's like, I feel like if you've got any form of like screen where you're like, okay, this cannot go past here, then it's like you're not always going to get the full...
Not always going to get the funniest part. And a lot of people like... so we uploaded the radio show to our Luke and Lewis as like a bonus episode, being like, all right, we're doing radio for this month, but also keep doing the podcast. People commented on the radio going like, wow, like I didn't realize how much... Like people like, I used to love the radio show, and now since listening to the podcast, they're like, still enjoy the radio show, but goddamn, the podcast is so much better.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing we've found is people just love the uncut freedom, and it structurally isn't as good. Like if you actually look at it from like a content perspective, the ideas on the radio they're produced by professional producers, so they're thought out, they have a start, middle and end, usually have a great punchline and a well thought out ideas. The podcast is us shit memeing
none of the above
about who's going to do the Spotify bio and who's going to email them because no one can be fucked. Yeah. And we, I guess, go like, is that funny? Apparently, everyone's like, yes. So
do more.
Yeah, do more. So like, that's the thing we've discovered is like, people don't want perfect. People just want you. They just want you to be yourselves. And that's, I think, that it took me years to work out is I was trying to achieve perfection in all my content. And not perfection, but I was really trying to like
produce
up the standard and like go, that's not good enough. I used to have a vlog channel and I regret it now. I started this channel called Life of Luke because it was at that weird time where vlogging was becoming really popular on the internet. But I was like, oh, it's not good enough for my main channel. Now, you can put up podcast clips, anything. People are like, oh, it's you. I love it. Mm-hmm. The internet's changed since I started doing it in the last 4 years. Yeah. Like you used to have second channels and B-grade content went on the second channel.
Yeah.
Now I just have this dead vlog channel and I watched it back a couple of them. Like, these are great. This is some of my best content, like just filming my life.
Yeah.
So I was just like...
But I wonder if it's only now, though, that you appreciate that because you have a following and you don't feel weird about that.
Maybe.
Because that's one of the things with me, like this show mainly has come up because of... Like, I think why this show got really popular is because you got these, like, super famous guys that come on that, like, they're in such a restricted industry. So, like, they're super professional. But, like, I spent years being... amazingly unprofessional with all of these dudes, like away from the like we'd film, we'd do all the professional stuff, and then we'd be degenerate fucks for like the rest, and like and I knew that side of them, and then they'd come on this show, and I'm like, you're a degenerate fuck, like I know you, you know what I mean?
And so then they just
and then they're like
the true selves,
they're like, the gig's up, all right, I'm a degenerate fuck, and
people love seeing the real sides, people,
and it blew people away. They're like, holy, he says fuck.
Yeah.
Like people would trip on it.
Well, you know why? Because people
say fuck.
Yes. And even though like, yes, there was like what we're talking about with the mainstream media verse online is like, even though, and I get why maybe perhaps other comedians might look down on what we do, going like, oh, why the fuck would you like that? It's like even though, yes, I'm not as good of a comedian as someone like Tommy Little who's been doing it for heaps longer, you know? I'm not comparing myself to him, but I'm just saying someone who is in the mainstream and someone who's online, even though you might look at them and be like, well, but they should be better. It's like there's something like super authentic about like what we're doing. It's like, you're right. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you just don't. Because I can't hide it forever. Because I put 4 hours of content at least out there in the world of me every single week on the internet.
Yeah.
You can't hide behind that forever. So it's like a thing where there's a certain level of authenticity, which is why people like seeing the motocross guys, what they're actually like.
Yeah.
People like seeing what I'm actually like, and Isaac's actually like, Frenchie's actually like, and they are actually kind of like those guys. Like no one's that much of a character.
Well, and I think that the reason why you get quote unquote famous for something, like all the people that I've met, and I think that was maybe like one of the things as well, as like I feel like for so long I got to see what really went on behind everything and who these people were. So there was never like a veil of secrecy with me. Like I never had an image of what people were, because I'd sort of always get to see everything what they were in a way.
Literally from your childhood, as it got brought up before, you've always looked at things in a certain way though. Like you've been like, I get what it is on a surface value, but what is it? That's your mind. It's clearly you analyze everything.
Yeah. And I think
a lot of people don't. A lot of people see what we do as surface value, and they might see Frenchie video and be like, oh, that guy's just a drunk hooligan. Because that's, Frenchie is loose and he's does shoeies on stage.
Or they're like, fuck, he's got good abs.
Yeah, stuff like which I think, on a surface value, he has a great body. But yeah, Frenchie's one of my best mates, and he's like, is that fun guy. Like we go out drinking, and he's obviously not doing shoeies on a boys' night, but it's like, people at the end of the day go like, yeah, we know it's like, there's a bit for show, but it's like, fuck, he is that guy, and there's something so lovable about. He's just an Aussie guy, and he's having fun, and that's the whole appeal of being a fan of his. And he attracts people like him.
Yes,
I don't attract that audience at all. I attract kind of like nerds, really.
Yeah,
like
nerdy white dudes.
Yeah, like I've got fucking Star Wars posters in my bedroom. I like Blink-182, and that's. I have a podcast called Memoirs of a White Guy. My special's called The Whitest Boy That Ever Lived. It's kind of like I'm just running with me, I do shop at Cotton On.
Again, that's like, because I
shop at JJ's. I'm actually thinking of, someone sent me now, that's the thing, and people love participating in it.
Yeah.
I got sent yesterday, 3 people sent me this application where JJ's released an application yesterday online where you can apply to be a JJ's model. 3 people were like, dude, apply. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want it. That's just good content. and the fuck part is though, like, I would love to get free JJs. I would wear all that shit. Look at me. I'd look like a fucking Kmart mannequin. That's my life.
I've been buying a disturbing amount of stuff from Kmart lately.
Yeah.
Are these pants right now Kmart?
Yeah, you got to embrace it. And you know why people like that? Because even though people go, oh, JJ's, half people listen to my podcast also probably fucking
they're like, I fucking buy shit from JJ's.
Yeah, they're like, well, I do too. Yeah.
There's a certain like courage that comes with like what you do though, where you do just be yourself. And I think also people relate to it, but they also appreciate the courage of like, he is being the whitest boy alive.
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking doing it.
But it took me a while, like
100%,
to learn how to be myself on camera. I feel like if you watch my first videos, I'm doing whatever I thought I should be. I'm doing like the idea of what was cool, or like what I thought people would like, when I realized,
people don't know what they like.
I sometimes at the start of my podcast don't edit it anymore. The first 20 episodes, I used to edit out me saying or stutters. I used to stutter a lot. And now me stuttering or not being able to think of a word, I'm like, what's that word? What's that word? Everyone loves that shit because it's all I do on the podcast.
You're so right.
It's me just going like, okay, so like, no. That's half my podcast. But there's something, I don't know, what's the right word? Endearing?
Yeah.
There's something like authentic about that, and people just go, that's me. That's the way I talk.
Well, because that's like, I think that people know that it takes courage to just like be that guy where you like, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because like when I was doing the stuff with Shaw, right? Yeah. So you go in there, and then it was like, it was just me and Chin, their producer, like trying to set a bunch of shit up.
Yep.
And then Shaw walks in, and I'd met him once at the Laugh Factory or the Improv or whatever. And then, damn, this fucking thing just said it's out of space. Hang on. Still recording. We might be cutting this off in soonish. But yeah, so like I met him there, all good, nice guy, and then I went into his studio, and then he was like off camera, and he was just like the same dude. Then the camera turned on, and he was the same dude, like nothing, you know. And that's like the people that are famous, quote unquote. Yeah, they're not doing anything different. They're just like that's the guy that he is, and I think that's what people that So like, fuck off with this.
People are drawn to, authenticity. And
I'm just going to try and delete something off this that I don't need anymore, and see if that fixes our little space problem. We can wrap it up soon anyway, if you want to.
You're making it like I'm so busy, but yeah, it's up to you. So I got a bit of radio station.
I'll drop you off too, so that you don't have to.
I've just got to go back to Broadbeach.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's where the radio station is, I think.
Yeah.
It's in the shopping centre.
I'll drop you off there.
Isn't that a while away?
Huh?
Nowhere's a while away on the Gold Coast, actually.
Here we go. I'm going to get rid of 18 gig off this fucking drive.
Boom.
That should get us to where we need to be.
Love doing a hard clean out.
Fuck, man.
Oh, these are recording into the computer.
Just the mics are, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Not the cameras. Yeah, we're good. 17 gig, baby. We're back.
Boom.
Yeah, no, that was like one of the other things that really made me think about that whole deal is we were shooting a documentary for a band, and they were quite a big band. Like they had, I think their first album was like number 9 on the Billboard 200. Yeah. But they were like a metal sort of band. And so I was just like, we're obsessed with them. Yeah. They were fucking awesome. Me and my business partner, like that's what we'd listen to when we'd drive. And then we saw that they were playing a show in Hollywood. So we were like, let's just fucking hit them up and see if they want someone to film their show. Yeah. And then we filmed their show, got on with them really good. And then we're like, hey, we'd like to produce this documentary. Like this is a storyline that we're thinking about. And then you make it in your second album. Yeah. And the whole thing turned to shit really, because like they were so like crippled by who they were and trying to like produce this album for people. Whereas like their first album was so critically acclaimed because it was just so eclectic and so bizarre and so like off what everybody else was doing. Yeah, and then they got to a level of fame and they were like, oh, how do we keep him? Yeah, people freak out. I did that after like the You Don't Know Me video went viral. Which video was that? So like you can look it up. It was like the most viral video I've ever done and will ever do. There's just I think, and I've said this statistic on a lot of podcasts before, and now I think I have to keep upping it because it literally just gets shared around every day. I think it would be maybe around 700 million views worldwide, like well over 500 million. Really? Yeah. What do I type in? Just like You Don't Know Me. Oh, it'll pop up. Oh, no, Own Me. Oh, Own Me. And it's like, obviously with that song, the You Don't Know Me song, I just ignored signs. And it was like the most viral. Okay, fuck. Here's me thinking I'm hot shit. It's like being read. Just look up Kidgell or whatever. So it was like a thing. It actually didn't go that big on YouTube. It was like Facebook, Instagram. I see it sometimes uncredited. I saw it a week ago, like uncredited. Just so like this has got 30 million. I mean, on my channel, and then there's 2 million. But like, you know, this one has 1.3. But there was 3 parts to it. I see it sometimes just on Facebook, like 50 million uncredited. I don't want credit for it anymore because it's just like the people you attract is just... Yeah. You know, so you don't even need... So this was when you were working at the golf course? Yeah. A lot of this one was literally like... Most of them were filmed at the golf club while I was working. And I just wore sunglasses and then ignored signs with You Don't Know Me playing in the background. This is fucking awesome. But like I was just like really particular with the way it was filmed. This was the first one. So like go to the third one. So like this is one where I was just like originally this got 300 likes on Facebook. It bombed pretty hard and I was like whatever, next. And then what one I got and then Lad Bible posted it. That's that one. This one? This one's like I could have done 10 of these I reckon and had like millions of followers if I just kept on doing them. This is so fucking funny. So this like video pretty much defined me for like years. Like everyone was just like, I was the You Don't Know Me guy. And at this time I was doing stand up and stuff. But I didn't have I didn't have any stand up filmed. So I couldn't prove to people that I was funny on stage. So all I had was just me being a dickhead online, and that was filmed at the Chevron here. Oh right.
That was in Sydney. I filmed this all around the country. I was opening for Lewis that year on his tour.
Yeah, right.
So I filmed it in like different places. And this one was so obscure. This is when I started trying. I was like, yeah, this would be fun if I get a massive clock and it says no rollerblading between between the two times. Yeah, like
it's pretty.
That was also on the Gold Coast. I think.
Quite intelligent.
And I was making merch. Like I have a You Don't Know Me top on there. Like I've toured a show called You Don't Know Me.
Fucking hell.
And like, so like that video was so hard to overcome. So the first one kind of went a bit viral. Then the second one dropped it and it just went nuts. Like 50 million views on Unilad, 50 million views on Lad Bible, Viral Thread, Hood Clips, you name it. All those things. Yeah. Got shared around like crazy. I reckon it was probably one of the most viral videos of 2017.
That's gnarly.
And then I dropped the third video and I went up 200,000 Facebook likes in 18 hours.
Wow.
It was just nuts. Like I woke up the next morning. It was literally an overnight thing. I woke up and I thought Facebook was fucked. I was like refreshing my phone. I was like, there's a glitch on my page. I was like, I don't know what, because I went to 300,000 just like that from one video.
Wow.
And that it was a little intimidating, being like, oh my God, like I feel like I painted myself into a corner. I was like, I'm this guy now. I just have to keep wearing meme sunglasses forever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like Roy Purdy or whatever the fuck the other guy. And at the time, I didn't even know who the other guy was. What's his name? Filthy Frank.
Yeah,
he's like this huge YouTuber. I'm not up with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And all these people, there was a few comments were like, "Oh, you copied this off Filthy Frank." And I was like, "What is that?
Who the fuck is Filthy Frank?"
I was like, "Is that a guy or is that a band?" I was like, "What's that?"
Was that a body scrub?
I looked it up. It's just I looked up. He's this huge YouTuber who just like does similar stuff. But at the time, I was like, I don't know. I bought these kids speed dealer sunnies as a joke with my friends, and I was like, oh, it'd be funny if I wore those in the video.
Yeah.
Because like I'm being a rebel and they had flames on the side. That was what it was in my head.
Yeah.
And then I dropped the third video. So after this time, I knew when it was. I knew like, okay, I'll drop one more. I'm touring a show called You Don't Know Me. Great promo for the tour. I dropped this video. Trailer. I was literally like, it's going to drop this day at this time. So people were waiting at their computers. I dropped the video, posted on Facebook. No joke. I refreshed it and it had 1,000 likes. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's gnarly.
It was like, it was just like, it was out of my control. It was like I dropped a spirit bomb on the internet. And like everyone was just like, this is the best thing ever for like a month. And then I didn't post anything for a month. It freaked me out. I just was like, how do I follow that?
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what I followed with. Who knows what the next
and then
video
you were just like, you know
I probably just posted some sketch. And then I was like super scared. And then all the next video I posted, all the comments were like, do more You Don't Know Me. Do more You Don't Know Me. And I still probably get like one comment under every video now. I do. No, if it's a stand-up clip, do more rule break. It's like in broken English because you don't even need like to understand English to enjoy that video. It's just me ignoring signs. I got 20,000 likes from the Philippines.
Fuck.
I'm probably a fucking rock star there for like a year of my life.
You could be like, what's that?
I could have gone there and just like,
Isn't there some Netflix doco about a dude that's like insanely famous in South Africa?
Oh, right.
He's like an American guy and he makes music and it's like #1 all through South Africa.
Nowhere else.
And then like nowhere. And he's like walking through, I could be getting bits of this wrong, but this is like the gist that I got. And it's like he's walking through the airport in America. Literally no cunt knows who he is. And then he gets off the plane. It's like Beatles in South Africa.
Shit.
Yeah. And there's like a doco about it on Netflix.
That's awesome. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Apparently it's, he's like a well-known dude too. Like my dad knew who the guy was.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so it's like that. You go to the Philippines and it's just like,
yeah, it's wild.
Everyone's got all these signs.
Yeah, they're all like doing rule breaks.
And they're like, break this rule.
Well, and then the one
like no masturbating on an airstrip, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I used to get sent people's versions. It was clearly a thing that was easier to participate in, and I used to get sent people doing their own like every day. And then I called out this guy. Do you know Jackson O'Doherty? No. It's like one of those Australian guys. He's like, he does videos where I don't know, whatever. He just does videos. I'm not going to trash him. Good on him. Yeah. He seems like a nice guy. Anyway, he copied my video, and at the time, like I was real petty, and I did a video calling him.
I was real petty.
Yeah, I was pissed off, and I did a video calling him out.
This is my internet fame, cunt.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Literally that. It was pathetic. And then I called him out, and it got me calling him out got on the front page of Reddit.
What?
Yeah, so like me being like, fuck, this guy stole my video, and And people were pretty on my side about it. And in hindsight, I was like, a lot more people probably should have been like, hey, man, it's not
just
a big deal.
Fuck,
yeah.
bro.
But everyone was like, I think it was like the way it was worded. It was like, I didn't post it. Someone else had posted like, Australian comedian calls out Jackson O'Doherty for, stealing his content or whatever. And I was like...
Joke thief.
I did, joke. It was in that real Amy Schumer type era where it was a lot of joke thief coming, circling the internet. So and then for a bit, that was my second biggest video. So I really painted myself in a corner. I was like, my biggest video was me ignoring the sign. My second video was me calling out a guy for copying. And I was like, fuck. So then I was so lucky. Then I started uploading stand-up clips, and thank God, I had a stand-up clip go viral about the VCAL thing. And
the what thing?
It's just like a thing, and it's an education program in Victoria for like, it's like TAFE. Yeah. And I just bagged these like kids about being dumb fucks. And it went nuts in Melbourne.
And every cunt loved it.
Literally everyone was like, now I get heaps of VCAL kids coming to my show, and like...
That's so good.
Yeah, one time I got invited to a school to teach VCAL kids how to do stand-up comedy, and I write this bit about trying to teach these kids how to do comedy, and they're all just fucking morons. And and I just say like, oh, they're like VCAL kids just like eat glue and build blocks, like that's what they do.
I've never seen a blue duck before.
Yeah. Legit. It's so then had this bit get like a few million views in, and I was like, thank God I'm not the You Don't Know Me guy anymore, because that would have been, it was just like a year and a half there where I was just that guy. Well,
I wonder,
it was terrifying because I didn't want to be that guy.
With Isaac Butterfield, because I like his stuff, but I don't really like watch his videos and stuff.
So what do you follow?
Just him. I like him.
You follow him on Instagram, stuff like that.
Yeah. Because that's where I find myself a bit at the moment, is I like the people.
Well, it's hard to follow everyone's content.
Yeah.
Because there's so much content.
Yeah, true. Well, there's literally one dude I think that I actually follow, and that's Adam22. Have you heard of that dude?
No.
Fuck, this guy will freak you
This
out.
is what the future is. It's everyone is slightly famous in their own audience.
Yeah,
and if you're
100%.
not in it, you don't know. Because like, the people that come up to me in the street, they're so excited. They're genuinely like, oh my God, bro. Like, I was listening to you this morning. Like, and I was like, oh, thanks so much, man. That's crazy. And everyone else in the street is like, can you fucking move?
Yeah.
Like, everyone in the street's like, don't stop in the middle of the like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their own little bubble of their own fan base.
And then people are like this dude, like if I met Adam22, I'd be like fucking so pumped. But then like another person would not know who he is.
What is he?
He has a podcast, yeah. Right. But like that was like Theo Von, dude. When I went to his show, it was the biggest fucking trip. Cult. I went there with just my friends, and I got stopped for photos.
Oh,
the entire time. The whole
probably a similar fan base.
Yeah, but people in like the whole podcast world.
But that's like when I go, like I go watch mate shows, like you go watch Frenchie's show, I went to watch Superwog show and stuff, and then because people are in that world, they dabble in the world of online comedy in Australia, so they know everyone. So but it's funny that like we can walk down the street, all of us together during the comedy festival. It's like Frenchie, Isaac, me, Lewis. You'd be surprised how little crossover there is. Yeah, we were surprised. Like some people, Isaac has a million followers. People come up to me and be like, hey Luke, can I get a photo? And they're like, hey man, can you take this? And they give Isaac the phone, and the same thing would happen. They wouldn't know who I am. Yeah. And I would consider, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe they wouldn't know who I am because I'm nowhere near as big as him. My online presence isn't as big. So I was like, but it's kind of just like everyone's in their own little bubble of 100%. Fan base. It's bizarre.
Well, and then like you'd see the people. It 100%.
I reckon there's no one gonna be as famous as like Brad Pitt and shit ever again. No. That's just a thing that's gonna die.
And that's my whole thing at the moment is like fringe culture is culture. Yeah. Like there's no more pop culture. Like well there's like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian but it's if you think about the Beatles,
there is
everybody in the world knew the Beatles. Yes. Like if you were like said to someone like, oh yep, what's this? Have you heard of the Beatles? Yes, I've heard of the Beatles. But you go, this Adam22 dude's got like fucking million followers on Instagram and blah, blah. And then if I said to someone, oh, if you had Adam22, no. Like basically, like I know 3 people in Australia that listen to him. But to me,
but if you met one of those people, they'd be like, oh, fucking, I love him. Like they'd be so into him.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's just like that's pretty much the way.
It's what surprises me is how many tickets I sell around the country the ratio of my ticket sales to subscribers is pretty wild. Like, I almost sold 10%.
Yeah.
Like, I sold...
So that's a hardcore fan base.
I sold 1,700 tickets in Melbourne, and I only have 80,000 not even. I have 78,000 subscribers, I think, on YouTube.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
And like 65,000 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm selling 1,700 in one market.
That's
like,
crazy,
so that's
eh?
actually like, that means the people who like me from Melbourne are like, we're going.
We're going.
Yeah.
100%
And
going.
usually it's like 3/4 of people know you, and then, so, you know, people with their friends who are like, I don't know you, but my friend dragged me along because no one wants to go to a comedy show by themselves.
Yeah.
So you often do sell tickets of some
Subsidiary
people.
tickets,
Some people in the crowd don't know who you are,
Yeah.
but you get them. You know, they're gonna come back. That's the thing. Then that gives you an opportunity to gain
To
a new
win
fan.
them over, yeah.
If you're good, then they're gonna become a fan. So it's great.
Yeah, that you're right though about what you were saying, where you know you can be like have someone just freaking out over you, and then literally no one knows who you are. Because like that Theo Von thing, people were looking at me like they're just staring at me like, the fuck is that? Like, why would anybody take a
photo with that guy?
Yeah, and then you just keep walking as like a normal person.
It happened in Surfers last night. Legit.
Really?
Someone was like, fucking move. Like, some guy stopped to get a photo with me, and some other guy was just like, why would you stop and get it? I think he thought we were like knew each other, because this guy goes, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, I watch your shit, and he wouldn't have heard all that, and then he just would have seen this guy taking a selfie with me and be like, who are these two dickheads? Get out of the way. Like, I'm moving. But it's pretty wild. You know what I think is crazy, getting back to like, you know, I wouldn't call it a divide anymore, but I did felt that at the start between like comics who there's a lot of comics especially who don't like the online thing, look down upon it. And the thing that I think is wild is like, right, so you have a great set at a comedy club, right? And someone else has a great set who doesn't have an online following. So you both have equally as good set. Someone in the audience is going to look up both of us. If they get to their Instagram, there's 2,000 followers, they post pictures of their dog. There's nothing to like there.
Yeah.
If that person is a fan of me on the night, looks me up afterwards, you know, all of a sudden, holy shit, this guy's a podcast. He's got videos, other stand-up clips. I can watch more of him. Fuck yeah. He's posting every day. Boom, boom, boom. That person is going to be a fan of me in like a week.
Yeah. Well, that's literally what happened to me. Like, I've been watching your stuff for that long, and I'm like, this cunt's fucking amazing. Got to get him on the podcast.
That's very kind.
But it's fucking. But
yeah,
it
it
speaks
happens
to
that
exactly
quick.
what you said.
As it's literally like, I will never understand, especially in what I'm doing, is like, if you don't have stuff on the internet and you're a comic, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. Not that you're a bad person or you're a moron. Yeah. I just think career-wise, it's just you're blowing it, and it's such an opportunity. We live in a world now where you got to just invest a little. It is expensive to film stand-up. You know, I self-funded the own comedy special myself.
That's what I was going to ask you, like the process of actually filming that special. So that's no joke.
No, it's have you watched some of it? You've watched the clip of it? Yeah.
No, I was watching. I was like 3/4 of the way through it before.
Oh, sick. Yeah. So like, I think you would agree. It looks really better than most Netflix specials.
Really good.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely on par with some of the best looking specials I've seen, which I was super happy with.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's not a credit to me. That I had a great.
Oh, you didn't film yourself the whole time?
No, I wasn't selfie. I didn't have a selfie stick on me with
300 meters away,
7 4K cameras, and I was like, just get the right shot while I'm telling you. But yeah, so there's a guy named Connor. He lives here in Queensland. He's done a bit of stuff. You know, he filmed Isaac's one as well. Filmed Frenchie's, and I think by the time it got to mine, he'd done 2 specials before. They really had ironed out any of the kinks. Yeah. And it was just like
super polished.
Also filmed Frenchie's special in that exact same room. So he's like, I know how to make it look even better this time. Yeah. We're going to get the beam lights behind me look great. I have these blue lights that are just, it just like we just made it look great. And the team that he has working for him, clearly they all know each other. And I met them on the day, but it was mainly me.
Did you only film one show?
That was the worst part of it. Is the pressure. Because that's why I just took a risk essentially filming this special. Most people would wait 10 years to film their first special.
No, I fucking I love it, dude.
But I was just like,
what you guys have done with all that shit, eh?
I think a lot of people, there's a misconception where a lot of people are like, your first impression, you want it your first show. I'm like, dude, these jokes are never going to get any better. I will get better as a comedian, but these jokes will just get burnt and go to waste, and they'll only start aging badly. Yeah. So I'm like, I might as well just film them now while I like them and they are getting laughs and whatever. I'm sure I'll look back on this special. I hope to look back on this special in 15 years and go, holy shit, I'm a lot better now.
Yeah.
That's
but
obviously
that's like
what you want to do.
the first time you do anything right, you're like, that was fucking garbage. Like,
but a lot of people don't.
They won't take the risk.
They won't take the risk, and they won't have put up any footage of them in their first 2 years or whatever. And it's like, like that's why people think we've skipped some kind of cue. People are like, no, you do special 10 years in. And
you
it's
can't
like,
get a special right now.
It's like, well, I gave myself a special.
Yeah.
I've saved up all tour. I knew the right, I didn't know the right people, but I got involved. I networked well enough to, be with Verve. And so if you, really all you got to do in that situation is be in a situation where you can offer someone money, essentially. Like your product is good enough where people do want to buy it.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough, but that wasn't an overnight thing. That was me building an online following. And so it's just
I couldn't go film a special tomorrow and make it work.
No, because you just have to there's a bunch of steps you have to do before that to even get an audience who's going to want to watch it. So I think the first thing is don't start with the special. You start by film a set at a comedy club from the back of the room. Get your mate who's.
But like that's not going to be good.
No,
the first time.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be
like
good.
You've just got to do it.
But you build up.
Yeah.
I've done that before. You get your mate who's like, oh, I'm studying film and TV, and you get him with his tripod at the back, and he's going to do an okay job, and you're like, all right, that looked good.
And then he's got the lights flickering.
Yeah,
you're
like next
background.
time we'll fucking use the mic from their thing, and you. So then I got a set filmed at Giant Dwarf Theatre in Sydney in 2018, and then a couple of those clips went viral, and I paid money to get that film. So then you just keep building, and I kept building an audience, and then by this year I was like, I think the next step is I've got an audience, I can afford it, and I just was like, fuck it, and I had one take at it because I couldn't fill that room twice. It was the biggest show I've ever done by double with my shows. It was 400 people. My biggest show before that was like 220 in Brisbane the year before. Oh no, Sydney the year before. So it was me walking out to like one take. I'd spent over $10,000 of my own money and I had one take to get it. And I'd only ever done the special in that order once the night before because I was touring a different show at the time. So I went out and I was like, don't fuck it up. And it was, you can tell I'm nervous in the first bit. I think I watched it back and I know when I'm nervous.
I was going to say like from a consumer point though, like it didn't come across like that.
It was definitely me being like, oh, this is it. Like if I fuck this, I've lost over $10,000 here. Yeah. So, but then after 3 minutes in, I was just like, this is the best fun. Yeah. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And, I've done all these jokes a million times. There was some bits where because I hadn't done the show in that order before, where you see me go on the special, I didn't even cut it out. Like when I go to have the water and everyone cheers. Yeah. I'm just like looking at the sheet of like, oh yeah, that bit's next. Cool.
What did you say? You actually said something pretty funny there.
Oh, it continues throughout the show. People just keep cheering. Yeah. Like for some reason throughout my special, like the first time I went and got a drink and it was really awkward and I was like, I'm just going to get a drink and 400 people are just watching you go in silence. So then someone just goes, woo! And then that's all that happened the first time. I was like, thank you or whatever. Then the second time I went and got a drink, like 30 people were like, all right. And then cause my crowd and cause like the podcast culture is just like shit memes.
Bit of a podcast vibe,
they knew what to do. Yeah. By the third time I got a drink, fucking almost a standing ovation. Everyone was like, who's drinking water? Like, it's just fun. It's just, and I think that's ended up being one of my favorite parts of the special is like, yeah, the jokes are great, but like you can really tell what kind of culture I've cultivated in that way. Yeah. Like what I've actually built. Like that was the coolest part of it. It's like, yeah, the jokes are great, but like everyone in the room actually made the special great and why I like it. Yeah.
Well, and I could see like what you were saying about the whole network television thing. It's like, that it's like Network 10 built that. Yeah. Or network whatever. It's like the road that you've taken is just there's so much ownership over the product that you have. It's so undeniable. And like the audience
there's
ownership
a 9/11
over
joke in the special. I couldn't do that on Channel 10.
Fuck no.
Yeah. So like I wanted to do jokes that I'm like, that's one of my better jokes. It's a good joke. It's silly.
I like the immigration bit.
Oh, about the
filling the form in.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah. I imitate that. I didn't realize that afterwards. Like throughout the special, like I make the no airbags joke where I bring up. I don't make fun of transgender people, but I definitely touch on the subject. That's a banger joke. It's more of a joke about a dead royal, actually. Yeah. Then I impersonate Hitler for a bit. There's a bit of 9/11 stuff in there, but
also the retarded kid with the tambourine.
I mean, yeah, I call myself special. Yeah. But yeah, I do.
You being the retarded kid.
Yeah, I'm being the retarded kid. But I think the subject matter, when I say that now, people who haven't seen it, which is obviously most people listening to this podcast. I think a lot of people will listen to it. A lot of people, on this podcast will be like, oh, fuck, this sounds edgy. You kind of watch it. It's not. It's like, did you watch it and think, oh, this is edgy?
No, it's fucking amazing. Silly. Yeah, I thought it was a fun take on those topics.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not the one going in there trying to change your mind. I'm the one like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if like this was how World War II went? And I'm like, oh, Klaus. And I do like the dumb German voices and stuff. That's my vibe. It's like, oh yeah, let's like make people squirm, but then make people go, oh, okay, cool. He's not going to do anything. That's like my vibe.
Oh, he's harmless.
Yeah. Like that's why I attract a lot of female audience, which some of the other online guys don't. Usually a bit of a sausage fest.
I was going to say,
if you go to like an Isaac, I've opened Isaac
Frenchie
before and stuff, and yeah, their audiences, some of them don't like my silly little, I go on stage and I'm just like, they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Grow a beard, cunt.
Yeah, literally that vibe. So I get a lot of like, groups of uni girls coming together, like 20-year-old, 25-year-old girls being like, he's
I feel like
funny.
That's the move, though.
I mean, great. It's an audience that it's very unique. Not many other guys have it. So I'm happy to go. I'm not trying to get girls. That's the thing. I have a girlfriend. I'm not trying to do this for chicks. So I'm just like, great. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I can't control that.
How long have you been with your chick for?
A year.
What's it been like having her see the progression of everything? Because that can be kind of hard in relationships.
So my ex-girlfriend I was with in high school.
Yeah.
And she saw me go from like playing in high school bands to then doing a sold out national tour comedy in like 2018. So she saw probably more progression.
Yeah.
Kind of came into Meg, my current girlfriend. Or my girlfriend is that sounds weird saying my current one like I'm planning to move on. It's not the case. She's lovely. I love her to bits.
The chick that I'm with for this bit of my career.
No, that sounded fucking horrible. I hope she doesn't watch this.
I'm going to put that on Instagram.
Fuck. I love you, Meg. Okay. All right. If you're listening, she's lovely. Yeah, so she kind of came in.
When you see this, she's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
She kind of came in like, I guess when I'd had some success and
that's so fucking
so funny. Like no shit, that's not why she's with me though. She's not just like gold digging because I'm not rich. Like that's the thing. If she was,
this whole segment's gone to shit.
If she thought I was gold digging, then she's fucked it up. She's definitely realized now.
I think
you did.
Wow, come back. This one's being dodgy, dude.
Oh, is it the cord?
Yo.
Yeah, it was the cord.
Fucking cord.
So yeah, she kind of came in like when I was already guy. Like I think on the night we met, I got recognized a couple of times. Like I was already
that
like,
helps.
Yeah, but she didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
actually,
it still helps though.
It helps, I guess, but not really. She's just like, fuck, you're a dog. Like she's like, one of these people like you. But now she's doing YouTube herself, and she's killing it.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, so she kind of like. I met her through musical, like my mate did a musical and stuff. So now she's like got a YouTube channel.
Fuck, that's it.
She's like doing TikTok. She's one of the new up and coming
TikTokers.
Dude, she's gonna get huge on that.
Really?
She's so funny. Like we do these bachelor videos on my channel together, and
that's awesome.
Everyone loves her. And because I have so many girls on my channel, all the girls are now more fans of her than me.
That's fucking rad.
And I'm totally okay with that.
That's sick.
Because I'm just like, good on her. That's sick.
We do so you know how Rogan does Fight Companion?
Yeah.
So we do that, but for the Supercross races.
Right.
So we get like a bunch of the dudes, and they're always like, because obviously that's like in America, the big Supercross races.
Yeah.
So then I get the big famous Australian dudes.
Yeah.
To sit in here. So it's actually like quite educational because they know they're really fucking good.
Yeah.
So they can like pull it apart a lot better than what I can, even though I was over there for so long. And but I just want to fucking do that, but for The Bachelor. With like a bunch of you guys.
Of course. I'm already doing it.
Is that what you guys do?
I mean, like, look up Luke Kidgell Bachelor. I didn't get through the whole season because the editing was just severe, but like, look up Luke Kidgell Bachelor. It's like now a lot of people come to my channel for is me just reviewing The Bachelor. Awesome.
I've got one of the boys, he actually...
So that's me and my girlfriend there. We review it. She's in most of the episodes. Sometimes I do it with Lewis.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, we just like literally sit there and watch The Bachelor and insult everyone. It's great.
We got I got friends that have been on Love Island, so I wanted to go kind of in on that, but then it's like
I did some Love Island videos last year. I love reviewing reality TV.
Oh, Nobby Nation represent.
Yeah,
fucking
they sponsor our podcast as well.
Yeah, Rob's the man.
Absolutely.
So how do you get away with playing these clips on there?
Channel 10 have never copyrighted me.
Really?
Channel 9 did with Love Island. They tried to take one down. They tried to they got one age gated. Oh, it's probably shit I said probably.
Yeah, right.
But they did copyright strike it. I just disputed it and was like, it's fair use. It's commenting. Is it?
Yeah.
Commentating and criticism. I'm like, I'm not just showing it. I'm like,
you're talking
about it. I'm talking about it.
This
so it's like,
plagiarism.
it's actually not plagiarism. It's legal. So
yeah, right.
If they dispute it, you then just like got to file a dispute. It's a pain in the ass. You lose a bunch of views and stuff. But
yeah,
so it's just us shit memeing, and I think she's like so funny. She's so funny to the point where those people are just naturally funny.
Yeah.
She's one of the people actually earlier when you're saying, is there someone in your life who should do stand up? She started opening for me on this year's tour.
Oh,
she did her first 3 gigs opening for my shows, like pretty big shows.
Fuck,
and that's not many people would have that opportunity to. Most people have to start an open mics, and she's
awesome.
Up there in Canberra in front of like 150 people, and she did well. Like, she's funny.
That's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a buddy that I've been trying to talk to years for doing stand up. Like, he had he lives in LA.
We should do another episode with us too.
100%. Whenever you guys want.
We're always in town. So.
Well, this is a open. Once you're a one-time guest on Gypsy
you
Tales,
just come on.
It's literally an open.
Well, hopefully your audience likes
here.
my vibe. Hopefully the audience is like, fuck, don't get this guy on again.
I don't really. That's like one of my things is I try not to listen to the audience that much because I'm like,
you're like, fuck the people who like me.
I'm like, you don't know what you want. I don't know what I want. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, I don't know what I want. Like, I didn't think I'd like Adam 22.
Yeah,
he interviews SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
that sounds shit on paper.
Yeah, it sounds fucked. And then I'm like,
I can't believe you listen to that. You don't seem like that type of guy.
Fucking froth it, bro. Like, that's just the thing.
Because you just find out about new people.
Exactly.
It's kind of interesting. That's what the appeal of this podcast, I feel, is I've watched a couple of your clips and I was like, fuck, I don't know I'm not into motocross. Yeah. I found myself just watching guys talk about their upcoming competitions and I was like, oh damn, I hope he wins. Like, I was so into it.
That's like,
cool.
when Dusty was here, he's like, oh, I got to stop for a piss. And then the guy who's like the Australian motocross champion lives there.
All right.
And like the next warehouse, and
I wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah,
he's probably famous in your world.
He's massive. Yeah. And so he's like washing his bike, and then all the boys, like the glove company and everyone, like they're all out there drinking beers. And then Dusty's like, "Oh, did you guys just ride?" And then they're like, "Nah, we're prepping them." And he's like blown away. He's like, "You guys are prepping, you're washing your bikes to get dirt." Yeah, and he like has no idea. Yeah. And he's like, "Man, now I like really want to fucking watch this dude ride." Yeah. Like, because he's just watching him wash his bike. But I think like that's what's cool is like literally just bring somebody, someone on. And it's like everyone's fucking interesting. Like if you are doing the point where you're like funding your own comedy special, like there's some pretty interesting shit going on with your life.
And if you want to go get it, hey, LukeKidgell.com.
Yeah, LukeKidgell.com/watch.
Watch is where it is. And $10. And I think some people, one thing that I guess annoyed a lot of my fans, even that's why you gotta get to a point where you don't listen to them anymore. It's because like, why the fuck is it on Netflix? Why is it on Stan? Put it on a streaming service. And it's like, you don't know. They just have no like appreciation of like the actual effort, and not even the effort. Put that aside. Yes, it took years of work. Like if you even put aside the fact that it's 3 years of doing open mics 4 nights a week, working on those jokes to get them good enough for it, then even the monetary value alone, I would be dumb as fuck to put it on a streaming service just so you can watch it for free. It's like, I consider $10 quite reasonable considering it costs $30 to come to a show of mine. So it's like $10 for all my best material to watch. That's a bargain. That's a bargain. So like you gotta, but I guess people now that Netflix, I really think Netflix have devalued comedy.
Yeah,
for sure. Because you can just watch.
But there's a double-edged sword to it though, because it seems like they've almost made comedy bigger than ever.
They've made comedy bigger than ever, cheaper but no one's willing to pay to watch it anymore.
But that's just content in general.
Yes,
because that's one of the things. Like, we maybe don't have too much time to go into the Patreon thing, but
kind of agree with people. Like, why? I get it. Like, if you're not a huge fan of me, why would you pay $10 to watch my special when you can watch Ricky Gervais's for free?
Yeah,
totally understand that thought process, which is why I guess it's like what we've been talking about. Like, they're just gonna be for the people who either are curious to see it, or are really into me. And you know what? Everyone who has watched it so far, thank God, have been like, best $10 I've ever spent. Would spend it again next time.
Well, I would spend $10 again, and I just hope that.
Oh, that's very kind.
I hope that the Gypsy Gang go and listen to watch it.
The Gypsy Gang, that's cool.
That's what they've called themselves.
You guys are a gang.
That's what they call themselves.
Oh, dude, man. I want this gang to now watch this special. Yeah, only because I kind of want to be a part of a gang. That's cool. Can I be a part of it?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm part of it now because I'm part of the Gypsy Gang. Yeah, guys, I'm one of you. So, support a brother.
Well, I feel like they need to support you because you came here on a bus.
I know, that's so fucked, isn't it? I was like, this is the point of my career that I'm at. It's like, I could afford an Uber, but I'm like, I could save like $20.
Yeah, fuck. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, you really need to be getting your guess Ubers, eh?
Yeah, I was staying in like...
This is super
I'm staying in Surfers. It's not close to here.
Yeah, I didn't know. You were so casual about it. Like, yeah, 12:30, let's just do it. I'm like, oh, cool. He's got this shit figured out.
Yeah. I was like, I can make it happen. And that's what I do, man. I make things happen.
I love it. Well, hey, we just did 3 hours, so...
Oh, fuck, really? Yeah. This is the longest podcast I've ever done. Yeah, Thank you so much for having me.
No, I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate you coming on, and I love I love what you're doing. I love what the whole crew's doing, and
I'll get the other boys to come on.
Yeah, I've DM Frenchie. He said he's gonna come on at some point. And I've spoken to Isaac as well.
Get Lewis on as well.
Yeah, I'd love to, dude. Yeah. But yeah, Isaac's busy as fuck.
He's a busy man. He's in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, he's got a whole different thing going on. Like, he's really...
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah.
He's blown up. Probably one of the quickest rises in the game I've ever seen.
It's pretty crazy.
Very cool to see.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'd love to... Anything that I can do too, because it's like... Again, it's like, not saying that I have fucking power to do anything, but it's like, if I can help in any way, I would love to help,
No, that's very kind.
So, because I definitely sit, like I said before, I just see where this is going, and I'm so excited just to like watch it unfold.
It's cool to be a part of like almost a new era of content in Australia.
Yeah.
And that's what is quite a cool thing.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like is happening.
Yes.
And I love watching... I love feeling like I know a secret.
Yeah.
You know,
and now the Gypsy Gang knows the secret too.
Gypsy Gang knows the secret as well.
You guys are in it. And if you want to find out a secret, lukekidgell.com/watch. There's no secrets in it. Actually, I reveal
it kind of is a secret because you have to like go there.
It's behind a paywall, I guess.
Is, yeah.
And also the Kesha story at the end is there's no one getting to the end of that special. You haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the Kesha bit.
The last bit is oh boy,
a banger.
It's a banger. It's a true story as well, and it's fucking wild.
Well, the Jimmy Kimmel thing.
Fallon.
Fallon. Well, yeah, thanks again, and I'll drive you back to Broadbeach, and we can get some food if you want.
Kind.
Have you had lunch?
No, I haven't.
All right, let's go have lunch.
Boom.
Done skis.
See you later, Gypsy Gang. That's so sick that you...
Love you, cunts.